yo, Skatesman, I gotta say something right quick. Troopers and grinders, keep booing, baby. I love it. Since I started picking, the more you doubt me, the stronger I get. You know what I'm saying? I love it. Hank the Tank in this hole. Hey, I know y'all didn't think the Tank was gonna lose in a pig battle between a skateboarder and a leprechaun.
But you are generally down. You are generally down for the year, though. I'm still far ahead.
It is true, but after Brian Battle's absolutely motivational win, I can't help it. I'm taking after him. I've become a Brian Battle stan. So you know what? I'm embracing his mentality, and fuck all y'all. That is my mentality. So
Fair enough.
There we have it.
I can respect it.
Yeah. Also, it serves for the monologue to open up the show. So that's the real reason why I was searching.
Well,
for one.
Unfortunately for you, you're being fined $250,000. Did we ever get word on that? Do we know if he actually did get fined?
No, that was a parody site. That was a parody account. So he fooled a lot of people, and good for him. It's good for his account. Got some impressions.
That's not what we do over here. We only keep it real, and we give you our honest, fair picks. And Hank the Tank, why don't you just go on your little bragging spree here?
All right. Well, I got to be honest. I wasn't doing so hot at the start of this show. I think I got the first fight that I picked, I got wrong, and then I just barely, and then I got the next one right pretty accurately, and then the third fight was Daniel Perez, and he just barely won. So I wasn't feeling all that great, and I think by like the end of the prelims, I was really sucking. I got like 2 fights wrong in a row, and then all of a sudden that main card helped me out, man. I bounced back, and what really helped was the Brian Battle round 2 KO, and then the Morgan Sherrier round 2 KO as well. The Hank the Tank way worked this time around, and then main event I picked Moicano. Everybody below me, the second place, third place, they all picked Benoit Saint Denis. The exact same method too, including Skatesman, was like round 2 KO Benoit Saint Denis, and ended up being Moicano who got the second round finish. So that worked out pretty well. I have to be humble in victory. I was having a really bad day in general and a bad stream. So honestly, I think I needed this to
technical difficulties.
Technical difficulty, yeah, which I was able to get rid of, by the way. So I now I know how to edit streams after they're done. So that makes me very scary going into the future. But look who's here in 8th place. It happens every single time, Skatesman. SkateTank MMA, always in the Rush Hour Tapology League, top 10 at some point. Usually it's just
top 10 or 15. We rarely ever do worse than that.
Yeah, we're almost always on top, at least one of us. So good job. I wanted to say an equal congratulations to the Idaho Skatesman. I'm also proud of Weedy Gonzalez for tying with Skatesman in 8th place. What a fucking guy. And
good shit.
Then Dane wasn't far behind, dude. Skatesman's crew doing pretty well.
Yeah, absolutely. If Dane's at like 14, he didn't make a lot of money though, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's a real shame. But look who's in 17th. It's fucking Denial, who always goes with his heart and doesn't. He never picks with his brain.
He was tied with you for most of the show.
Wow. What do you think helped me to get away from him? To run away with it.
Live on the other side of the country.
That's true. Yeah, I did have a head start on him. But then Sean Moody in a respectable 21st, and he's usually way down on the bottom. So good job to Sean Moody. He was
you did really bad.
But it was the main card that basically saved my ass.
Ganskow wasn't looking so hot.
No.
Anyway, yeah. So your review of the weekend as a whole, some highlights, some lowlights.
Highlights. I think RIZIN's like last couple fights were all pretty good, and that's ironic given that I passed out before that happened. So I missed almost all of it, but from what I saw from highlights, it was pretty damn entertaining. Brave FC was actually a pretty solid show for as long as it lasted. Had some hype results for some of the more hype fights on the card as well. PFL Europe had a modified Twister in the main event, and I put that in the thumbnail because that was pretty fucking cool from Stevie Ray. But I think the crown jewel was probably UFC Paris. I'm going to be honest with you, just because the great French crowd, also shocking main event upset win. I think it had some things to, and that fucking Xiam knee KO to Frivola was also pretty fucking awesome.
That was pretty crazy.
The main card of UFC Fight Night Paris, I think, is the big highlight.
And that's been a problem for the UFC kind of in recent year or in this past year is like, the prelims will be good, main card will suck, main card will be good, prelims will suck. So yeah, definitely just not getting what we usually get, or what we're used to as our fight junkies that just need that shit in our veins.
In my veins. Barney Gumble made a movie style.
You closed your tab out, which you shouldn't have done, because now we got to wait for you to pull up your locks and breakdown of the regional show.
That is true, but you don't want to see how the sausage gets made. Idaho.
Yeah, but that's why I go from this screen to this screen, and it all gets hidden.
That is true. God, it's really annoying when.
But anyway,
let's read the comments.
Anakin MMA is up in here. Good to see you. We got Sean Moody. We got my new account, which is Seika Izawa Superfan. She is.
God damn it! You didn't run along with the joke.
She's my wife, and she just doesn't know it yet. Cool Breeze, what is up, my brother? Hope that you're doing all right there in ATL. I know that a hurricane came through, so
oh boy,
hopes and prayers to you, man. I know that you weren't on the brunt of it, but yeah, a lot of people in Florida, man, definitely had a bad time. Paradox the Chad is in here. What is up, my brother from England? Hank went from wanting to kill himself to woohoo and shit in 2 seconds after he was seeing his points. Yeah, that's how it goes. Watching The Punisher 2004. Good shit. He should only fight French fighters from now on, so eventually he loses to one. Is he talking about Brian Battle? Yeah,
it's totally.
I think the French crowd. I think the French crowd would absolutely love that.
Yeah, but let's without further ado, let's get to Hank's first lock and underdog of the weekend, starting with Cyril Negru beating Ilya Sinani by unanimous decision. Yeah, this was one of those locks that gets the jump on me. Oh, Jesus Christ, what happened?
Look at that. Typology's fucking spamming you with an ad.
Stupid fucking Typology. But
what is the ad though? Oh,
there we
go.
To see it. This was one of those locks that had the jump on me. Usually it happens at some point or another around Thursday or Friday. That matchup that is very, very favorable cuts out because somebody missed weight or somebody got injured, somebody got an illness. Luckily enough, the lock itself was still available to fight, and he got Chuck Norris, which is a really tough opponent for most people. But Negru made it look easy, and he fucking destroyed Chuck Norris easy, flat. Dominated the whole affair, and he's getting old, Chuck Norris. What is he? Is he dead? Is he? I think he's dead.
Well, he's still alive.
Oh, he's still alive. Well, he's getting. Old.
Didn't he just fight?
Yes, he did just fight. Yeah, but he got massacred by Negru. So easy unanimous decision. That was good for me. But what I'm most proud of was Monica Kusinik beating Fabiola Pedroni by unanimous decision as well. Yeah, just Monica. Like I said a couple days ago, and yeah, she made it happen. She was just the wiser, better fight IQ, younger than her opponent. Pedroni, everybody's saying that she did not look good on the ground, and Kusinik kept her down on the ground and beat her up. So there you go, hype prospect done. She is not fab. And that was it for Brave CF. But yeah, I mean, I think the promotion seemed pretty consistent in terms of like the main. It has the same problem that the UFC does, where prelims aren't so great because the talent pool's honestly pretty shit. But then the main event starts, and all of a sudden what's being most marketed ends up delivering. So happy with that. Brave CF happened then before fight night, and then PFL Europe 3 happened. That's with the Stevie Ray submission in round 1. And I had a more uneven record this time.
Shocker.
All right. Yeah, it's PFL.
Yeah, like I said, you don't need to close it out every time because it just takes more time.
Yeah. Hold on 1 second.
Yeah, we'll just stall for a while.
Yeah.
I'll just sit here and let you look foolish.
Okay. Thanks, Skatesman.
Kevin Lee won a fight the other day. Where does Kevin Lee fit into all this?
He fits in a backpack hold and a rear naked choke. So,
but where does he fit into all of this though?
I think he fits into an early grave because he's an MMA fighter.
Wow, that's mean. You're mean, Hank.
Yeah, well, life has been mean to you. Were just mean, so I gotta match the energy.
Fair enough.
So anyway,
We'll just wait
type
for
some
this
more in that
internet to
fucking
load.
Zawa fan account. Anyway, Chanel Dyer. She just barely got the split decision against Valentina Skitizzi. Yet another fraud check in PFL.
Skitizzi?
That actually isn't what?
Skitizzi?
Yeah, she's scat. Yeah, she's scat.
Wow.
She's shit, just like Louis Armstrong said. But obviously not shit enough to get dominated by Dyer. It was Dyer for Dyer, man. Dyer for Chanel, should I say. And then, unfortunately, what the fuck is it with these ads? The old man looking at a cat. What the hell?
I think it was a cat food ad.
Anyway, I thought that Wojcik was going to beat Polly Wizzy. It did not happen. Obviously, she was the younger of the two, and she let it show, man. Just absolutely bodied her. Better in the striking, better on the ground. So, yeah, Wojcik was washed. We thought, though, she had something in her. She had nothing in her. So that is unfortunate. It was PFL Europe, and then we had a few. One thing I do want to mention is that Lewis McGrill and Evans, who was like primarily a grappler, was able to just get a clean fucking right hook on his opponent and just put him out fucking cold. So it's always sort of cool when a wrestler is able to have some one punch power in him. That was pretty cool. Wow. And then it was a lot of fucking UK guys and Welsh people.
Well, thankfully you watched those cards, so you don't have to.
Exactly. I'm like the nostalgia critic. I watch the shit so you don't have to. And then I scream around and do characters. And now that I think about it, I'm actually more like Doug Walker than any other guy in MMA.
Yeah, whoever that is.
Yeah, did anything else happen after? Wow.
I don't know. Does anyone care?
That is once again casual. No, not really.
But Kevin Lee fits into
That's it for Hank's Locks.
Okay. Kevin Lee fits into everything as he was turned down for Dana White Contender Series and now waiting for his fight in Game Bred MMA. Let's go! Yeah, bare knuckle MMA.
That's nice.
So the first thing of note that took place this weekend was kicked off Friday morning. Let me tell you guys, man, this one championship card was not very good. Shockingly, one championship had a miss. And they do this a lot with their big time shows. The really hyped up cards. Like I can remember like the last was that card in fucking like Dubai or some shit. That card flopped big time. And it happened again. Let me tell you guys, it happened again.
Here's the fucking thing, guys.
With this card here in Olympia Stadium. No karate combat for Kevin Lee. Why not? I don't know. Where does he fit into all this? That's what I'm wondering.
Beat Sam Alvey for sure.
This card was a pay-per-view. It was $25. I purchased the pay-per-view myself.
Ooh, and that puts an excellent thing on it.
The first thing you'll notice, the decision.
Oh God, no.
Decision.
This is Muay Thai?
Decision. Yes. Decision.
That's first.
KO. Decision. And a KO. So I'll kind of go over the highlights of the card. Firstly, we had Takeru. Well, actually, Elias Iniachi, pretty inactive guy. He was on a good run, and I think that he was in Chatru jail. He broke out to be on this card.
Did he use
got a pretty dominant win of over Hiroki Akimoto. But really, I mean, the entire highlight of one's entire weekend was Takeru getting the win against Thant.
Yeah, that was
Zin.
awesome.
He had a last minute opponent switch. One championship hates this man, I swear. Putting him in Lumpini Stadium, having him fight a Burmese fighter on short notice is just.
This is on the prelims, right?
Well, it was on the prelims because it was the best time for the Japanese audience, as you'll kind of notice with the first 1, 2, 3, 4 fights featuring Japanese people. And actually, all of this was free for people to view on YouTube. So it was actually good. What's that?
Even Takeru?
Well, yeah, like I said, it was better for the Japanese audience to view it at this time.
Well, that's good marketing.
Yes. So Takeru, he actually... the first thing I noticed was that Thant was walking him down, and he was landing clean shots on Tikaru's chin. I was like, dude, what is he doing? Like, maybe he needed a second to kind of warm up, and he actually gets knocked down. Clean knockdown sends Tikaru to the ground. Yep. And I've said his name like 4 different times right now. I guess it's like Tikaru. Like you have to say the middle part really fast, but
he's on a lot of people's minds. I don't blame you.
So yeah, and it was looking bad for old boy, but then in the second round he picked it up. Classic 5-6 strike combos from Takeru.
Yeah, looked like kicks, a boxer in there.
Yes, but mixing it up though with the kicks, the hands, landing just a bunch of clean shots. He then eventually gets the knockout, and he looked fantastic. The funniest part about this whole thing was when he got knocked down, they actually like panned the camera to Rodtang, and Rodtang was like,
"Oh no, you don't want to see that."
He was like, "Oh no!" And then after he got the knockout, he's like, "Yeah!" And
yay!
And they gave him a bonus. No, they didn't give him a bonus. And it seemed like the interview was over, and I was like, dude, what the heck are they doing? And eventually, Rodtang does come in the ring, looking like he's going through his emo phase. I've been listening to a lot of My Chemical Romance.
Yeah, well, he's been wearing a lot of lady clothes, so that does something.
He was once spotted in a dress. I actually want to see if I can pull up the picture of that.
Was he on?
Not the dress. Not the dress.
Was he on Figueroa Street at some point?
It's possible. It's possible.
Okay. Just making sure.
Yeah, here we go. I want to. Oh my gosh, I hate the fucking. Let's see.
Hey, Chummy Boy, good to see you.
Hey, it's Chummy Boy, good to see you. Here, I got it right here for you.
Hey, we're doing good, man.
You see his outfit here?
Yeah.
He was looking like real pop punk in there. But yeah, they faced off.
Shit. That's Green Day.
They faced off. It was a good face off.
You love it when they lean against each other.
Yes, Rodtang pushed him. It was all in good fun. They say that this is going to be the fight that happens next. And to tell you the truth, man, like I've really soured on Rodtang in the past year.
Seems like a lot of people have.
I thought he was the shit when I first started watching one, and then now I've kind of been like, dude, Superleg is like single-handedly carrying this company. Rodtang's fighting people he probably shouldn't be in the ring with, and
even then he's having injuries in the middle of them.
Chummy says 100% his girlfriend dressed him.
Yep.
So yeah, and then there's this fight that was supposed to happen with Tikaru already, and it turned out that Superleg had to step up short notice. So it's like, what the fuck, Rodtang? But regardless, I think Rodtang probably punches Tikaru's head off. I don't give him a chance in that fight, honestly, man.
Yeah, if Taunt Min can fucking knock him down in the first round, Rodtang's gonna beat the hell out. He doesn't even need a knockdown. He's just gonna dominate him in the striking.
I think so, and I think it'll probably be a kickboxing match. But regardless, Rodtang smokes him. You feel the same way?
Yeah, it's sort of like Masvidal having a rematch with Usman, which on like one hand is like, oh man, they're having the rematch. This is gonna be so cool. At the same time, it's like, well, we know Usman's gonna win, right? He's gonna win. It's like one of those things that's a dream match, but at the same time, you know exactly how it's gonna go. And I honestly, for me as a fan, that takes the hype away from it.
Well, it was still shocking though because Usman knocked him out cold in the second fight.
Yeah. Well, yeah. The result ended up being great,
right?
But I'm saying like beforehand, like who's excited for that, really?
Yeah.
In fact, I think people actually turned on Jorge because he took the rematch, even though he got.
Ooh, Dummy Boy says no. We have to see what type of Rodtang we get. That's fair. I really don't see him Tikaru having a chance against Rodtang personally, but it would be sick. I mean, I'm gonna root for him, but I think Rodtang wins that pretty easily. Anyway, the next fight of note was Sammy, the legend, over 400 fights. Did you watch this fight?
I watched the highlights of it, and it had an absolutely hilarious knockout at the end.
It was so sad, dude. I think that Sammy had knocked down Akram, and then he got up, and the ref, like... Now, it's kind of like that Floyd Mayweather versus Victor Ortiz situation, right? where the ref didn't necessarily like reset them the best, but also Victor Ortiz wasn't really paying attention after he headbutted Floyd, and he was trying to. This is different though because the referee reset the action, and Akram just kind of stood there with his hands down.
Yes,
Oh,
and he was like, "Oh, dude!" And even worse, he turned into it like, "Huh?"
Yeah, and he got fucking folded by Sam A. Just not knowing what was coming. He wasn't paying attention. And yes, they had to bring out the stretcher for this poor fucking man.
Oh boy.
Yeah, it was hilarious.
He reposted in the Discord, and he was actually like fucking sad, like had crying emojis afterwards. Like, this is a travesty right here. And I'm just like, dude, this is fucking hilarious. This is the funniest shit I've ever seen. He's like, what are you talking
fucking
about?
Funny.
He didn't even have a chance.
No, he didn't.
Sam A got a KO. I'm happy, and it was funny too. So
the next thing we have to talk about is Nabil versus Solino. This fight was very hyped up, but cool dude. Got a picture with him after he still feels bad for Akram. Chummy Boy was there in Lumpini Stadium for this card. But yeah, that's fucking sick. You got a picture with Sam A, dude. You have to send it to me somehow.
You got to keep that picture.
Oh man, that's fucking badass, dude. I'm coming to Thailand in the future, man. We're gonna have to link up. We're gonna have to go to Lumpini. We'll make it happen. But anyway, Nabil fought Solino, and Nabil's debut, super like fucking made him look like a can. Since then, man, he's undefeated, and these fights are getting a little unfair, it seems, because
big height advantage.
Nabil literally just like little brothers. These dudes holds their head. And they swing. They look like Scrappy Doo in there. Let me at him. And they're just not able to do anything against Nabil. He keeps it at distance. He's fighting beautifully in there, but it's kind of getting old now. It's like, dude, Nabil, you got to finish these fucking guys, man.
Yeah. It's the same problem with Jonathan Haggerty. And who is that other guy who's just tall as a brick shithouse and getting wins? Rico something. I forget.
Nico Carrillo?
Yeah, I think so. Him. So he and
but it's night and day. This guy's fighting at 145 pounds and he's like 6 foot. It's it's crazy. But anyway, Nabil advances. He's on a win streak and good for him. Nongo, another legend, just kind of got out kickboxed by Kiriam. But to be fair, like Kiriam Nabidi, though he fought kind of safe and didn't really take a lot of risks, he did do good. And I guess I got to give him credit, but it was a pretty pedestrian, boring fight. What is up, Kobe?
Hey, Kobe. I like the new profile pic, man. It's nice. Skatesman also changed up his profile. He is an Izawa fan. So,
didn't you mean Roman, the Ukrainian guy?
No, I mean there's this other guy named Nico.
Hank, when is the think tank? It's the same day every week, man. It's always on Wednesday. So I don't know why you'd even have to ask. But good to see you. And then in the main event, dude, Superbond knocks out Joe Nadawat in the first round. Look, I like Joe Nadawat a lot, but to me, he kind of took a dive, and I'm not saying that he
took a dive.
Yeah, I think he basically took a dive. Wow. He was struck by an elbow that was like this. Oh. This was literally the elbow that hit him on the chin, kind of an uppercut style. And then Superbond threw him to the ground. And, did Saint Denis win? Dude, what?
Yeah, that is casual behavior.
Yeah.
If you're going to talk with me about the fights before they happen, Kobe, watch the fucking fights as they're happening. Okay.
Well, that's why he's here, to get coverage. We'll go over that. Okay. But he did lose. So he lands this Superbond lands this upward elbow and like throws Joe Nadawat to the ground, and he very slowly kind of gets up, and he's like still crouched at like the count of 8, and then he stands up and he's still kind of shaky, and the ref calls it. Look, I'm not sitting here saying he took a dive. I'm not saying he. All I'm saying is, okay, though an elbow may have landed, that's not the shot that puts a guy out, right? So it was a very suspect finish, to say the win, and as Sean Mooney says,
but that
a fluke elbow to me, yes.
Yeah, but that begs the question, like, if Chaudhry is up to bat enough for Smokin' Joe that he's willing to give him a rematch, even though he lost decisively in the championship bout, Why would he just have him all of a sudden lose to Super Bond if he's willing to give him a rematch?
I mean,
okay, your logic is falling apart a little bit here.
Oh, okay, it's falling apart. No, look, I mean, look, I just don't like to be that guy that's like, this is the conspiracy that's happening.
Right.
The finish was suspect.
Okay.
Why would you give Joe Nattawut another rematch after he lost to Taiwan Chai twice decisively? One was in kickboxing, one was in Muay Thai. I'll tell you exactly why. It's because he lives in Atlanta. He lives in Atlanta. He trains in Atlanta. They wanted him on the card for that reason. Both the fights were close in two different sports, but they were a little too quick back to back. But listen, why would you want Super Bond to lose? So you can potentially slot him in place of Joe Nattawut. So you say my logic's falling apart. You never just just give me a chance to kind of explain. I just don't like going too deep into conspiracies with this type of shit because these guys are fighters. They fight their asses off. And exactly as Chummy Boy says, the elbow was a counter to the hook. He was moving into it, but yes, it was really fast. To me, dude, it was just like, dude, that's not the shot that puts you out. Like, especially so fast.
I mean, would you say that Superlex knockout of Haggerty with the elbow is suspect then?
Not at all. Not at all. Because I was there. I saw it live on video. From the broadcast, you can barely see the elbow that landed. I had a perfect, clear line of sight to that elbow. Super clean, landed right on Haggerty's chin. And he was definitely out. And he even said in the post-fight press conference, he was like, yeah, I probably could have continued, but I just kind of knew I was cooked at that point.
Were there any interviews after the fight with Superbond and Nattawut where they explained what was happening?
I have no idea. Don't care. The shit was suspect to me. I mean, I don't even know why you're trying to defend this.
Because saying that any finish is fixed is a head turner.
I didn't say it was fixed. I didn't say the fight was fixed.
Well, I mean, that's what a weird, didn't look real elbow implies, right?
That it was fixed?
Yeah, he took a fall.
What defines a fight, a fixed fight to you?
What gives me a fixed fight is if someone knows that something's going to happen ahead of time, they time the exchange that's going to do it, and then you pretend that you got knocked out.
So in your explanation of a fix, this was definitely not a fix. Now there's ways that fights can be swayed in your one fighter, a particular fighter's favor. We've seen the UFC do this many times, announcing a fight before it's been booked and the contracts have been signed, calling people on short notice for fights that they may or may not be prepared for. Fight fixing in that sort of term happens all of the time. It's part of the business.
Right.
So am I saying he took a dive? A little bit. Am I saying it was fluky? Definitely. Am I saying that the finish was suspect? 100%. Was Joe Nattawut 100% ready for that fight? Possibly not. Again, all I'm sitting here trying to tell you is that the finish was suspect to me. It wasn't to me like a clear fight finishing blow. The fact that he got up so slow. Again, he has a fight. He's double booked, bro. He has a fight coming up next month. He's literally booked for Taiwan Chai. If you get hit like that and you're like, you know what? I'm going to just lay down for this one. I'm going to wait till next month and just get my big fight with Taiwan Chai. Again, like
there could be other motivations for it.
Right. But again, like I'm not sitting here telling you the guy took a dive and people knew beforehand he was going to dive in the first round. All I'm saying is the finish was suspect.
Right. That's interesting.
Do you not agree?
Exciting. I cannot confirm or deny. I don't know. I'd have to look more into it.
That's what I was trying to do, and then you made me explain the whole thing. I'm just sitting here going, "Hey, dude, the finish was kind of suspect to me."
All right.
Yeah, this one. Also watch it live skate. We hear the impact. Okay, but we all went quiet. Didn't expect Joe to not make the count. We don't know. We got Taiwan Chai fight or not. He hurt his eye. Yeah, but he looked definitely 100% healthy when he was in the crowd. And Kobe, please don't ask us about this, man. Like, I love you, Kobe, but I'm not going to sit here and discuss the inner workings of Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul right now. When that fight is booked and it's actually coming up, we'll do a quick breakdown of it. But until then, I do not want to talk about that fucking clown show of a fucking fight that's happening. But yeah, anyway, that was one championship.
Sort of mid. I'm sorry that you had to spend money on it.
Yeah, I want my $25 back, Chachi, you fucking bastard. But anyway, pull up your picks and we'll go in.
Wait, do you want to do RIZIN after fight night or RIZIN before?
Oh, we can do RIZIN now. That's okay. Fine.
That's good. So I got my picks up for RIZIN. Do you want to do like, okay, describe the card and then Hank?
Yeah. We'll just run down the card.
Okay.
Let me know what you picked and we can slap it up there. Well, why don't you just you made full fight predictions, right?
Yes.
All right, so you might as well put yours up there and we'll go off yours.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah.
1 second.
But yeah, sorry, Kobe. Like I'm not gonna talk about fucking fights that aren't even happening for months from now.
Yeah.
And if you don't know if that's an actual fight or not, like I don't know, man. You got to educate yourself a little more on the sport. That's what Chachi said. I don't trust him anymore. No, never trust a fight promoter.
Yeah. But first fight that we had on the card was Karshiga Dotbek defeating Takeaki Kinoshita by round 1 KO. Now, I didn't watch this. It took me a little while to get there, but from what I was hearing from people in the chat, he took Kinoshita's head off his fucking shoulders.
It was brutal. He when he hit him, he like almost did the splits, and wow. you knew the fight was over because the knockdown was so vicious and brutal. It was fucking badass. Now, to be fair to Mr. Kinoshita, he wasn't out cold, but definitely the fight was 100% done. He was able to stand up and stand there for the decision being read, right. The victor being declared. But yes, it was a vicious strike that definitely made him pretty much do the splits.
Do you remember anything of what happened before the knockout? Was this one-way traffic?
It was literally so fast, like in a minute and a half. So
yeah.
So, not a lot to tell.
Yeah, that's true. But there are some fights that are like 2 minutes, but it's like all action for those 2 minutes. And then
it wasn't no Nate Diaz or Nick Diaz versus Paul Daly. I'll tell you that much.
Right. That's what I wanted to confirm. But then we had our second fight. Yeah, it's highly likely that was not it. But then we had Mr. Gazimulu Zulu. Wait, Gazimulo.
Just call him Zulu.
Zulu taking on Joe Arai. My pick definitely went awry this time, and I didn't steal that from anybody. I didn't steal that pun from anybody. Joe Arai, yeah, he looked slow. I'm shocked that Zulu looked so good, given that he is primarily a wrestler, a grappler. He gets people down, he subs them, he does TKO, wins for the most part. Dude, this guy turned into a fucking karate champion kickboxer.
It was real so quickly. Sick.
Yeah, it was wild, man. He was hitting him with clean, quick combinations. Those knees up the middle were absolutely nasty. I think that was the beginning of the end. Hit like 2 knees in a row, flush on his face.
Sick.
RIZIN fighters are fucking tough when they want to be. But then he did a fucking spinning heel kick, bam, right on the fucking mush.
So amazing.
Incredible stuff, dude. I think I actually knocked myself a little bit just simulating that. But yeah, Zulu shows a fucking striking masterclass, which I didn't expect in a million years. I thought this would be the standard grappler versus striker matchup as styles clash. But no, dude, it's Battle of the Strikers, and Zulu has perfected the art all of a sudden. So
yeah, that might have been
very easy.
That might have been to Joe's detriment because he really didn't have much success on the feet.
Yeah,
pretty much at all.
Any.
And once he started getting kneed and kicked in the face, it was pretty much the beginning and the end.
Yeah, it was not a close fight. Then we had Kiyoma Akimoto defeating Yuto Hakamura by round 1 KO. Yet another RIZIN quick round 1 finish. And it sounded to me like Akimoto just put on a striking masterclass here, and Hakamura really had nothing. And hitting him with lightning fast combinations, and then one of those shots put him out. So great work from the young kid. And Akimoto, again, I think he was coming off like 1 win, and then there were like 4 losses before that. So it's not like this guy is a pro.
Fighters have terrible records.
Yeah, and that's classic RIZIN. But hey, it results in pretty good fun finishes.
I agree.
Fights. But this is our brand new member of the chat, Seika Izawa Superfan. He's telling us to talk about it. I'm getting to it, Superfan. I'm getting to it. God. Can't you respect me and Skatesman's time right now? Skatesman is dealing with a lot, okay? You gotta be nicer to this.
What?
Yeah. You're telling him to push things to give his results. Skatesman's a busy man. Okay. It's got to be nice to Skatesman. But anyway, our next fight, Ryo Takagi took on Kyohei Hagiwara. And I think this was the first fight, aside from Zulu. I think I started watching with the Zulu fight. But then there was this one, Hagiwara. Yeah, he took down Takagi, who I think he was supposed to be the fucking submission guy and the grappler in here, right? I'm pretty sure. I think that's what he was his last fight. Submission or something.
I'm not a JMMA nerd.
Yeah. Takagi ended up being the guy on top, and he was able to get in the rear naked choke fairly easily on Takagi. And yeah, how the turntables, Skatesman, how the turntables. And,
what?
Wow. Shocking round one.
Wait, what'd you say?
How the turntables, Skatesman, as the great Michael Scott from The Office.
Oh,
and that guy's a master of damage. Did I just hear him? I'm back. Sorry.
Yeah. So is at this point in the card that I had heard that there was a K1 stream out there, and somebody in the chat was trying to direct me to it. They said, "Hey, man, you just go on this Chinese website." So I had gone to said Chinese website, and let me tell you, it was basically Chinese Twitch. It's called Douyu. And I found literally, quite possibly, every single thing you could possibly imagine you could watch.
But K1.
But K1. I found SpongeBob. Found movie streams, people gaming, Chinese women doing makeup tutorials. But unfortunately, I could not find K1. I actually think that guy was like a CCP bot, just trying to get me to go on this Chinese version of Twitch. And let me tell you, I'm sold. I want all of you guys right now to go download the Douyu app, and free link in the bio and free link in the description. I'm just kidding. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I was trolled.
This stream is brought to you by Douyu, so get Douyu right away.
Hey.
It's for the channel's sake. They really help us out financially.
Yeah, use our link, our promo link.
Free promo code SkateTank MMA /SkateTank MMA on Douyu.com.
Yes.
Got all our stuff on there, so we are transitioning from YouTube really quickly. Good stuff.
You said that I found. Chummy Boy said I found malware, and my social credit score is up 10 points. Fuck yeah, I love it.
Yeah, bad stuff, bad juju. How could you do this, Skatesman? Our next fight was Yusuke Yachi taking on Sho Patrick Usami.
Oh, sorry. My point being is once I started looking for the K1 stream, I stopped kind of watching the card, but it's fine because all of these fights were terrible.
Yeah. Including and that includes some of the fights in RIZIN.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. All of these fights were terrible.
Yes, yeah, but all of them. Trust me, all of them.
No, it was like a span of 3 fights that were just shit.
Yes, this section in particular. But Sho Patrick Usami, I think a lot of people were expecting him to be the grappler here. And he's a solid boxer as well, and he's getting knockouts and he's getting submissions. Everybody thought he was going to make quick work of Yachi, who's again one of these guys who has a fluke victory out of nowhere. And let me tell you, RIZIN, it has less talent, and they are nicer to their talent than the UFC is in terms of like who gets to stay on these RIZIN cards after they lose. Because Yachi has no reason to be in RIZIN still, but hey, this is why he's here, so that he could have an absolutely horrific contest with Sho Patrick Usami, where neither man knows how to pull a punch, how to throw a punch. Honestly, Rose Namajunas and Carla Esparza were very proud of this one. They were shedding tears.
Don't you ever say that fight was good or better than any other fight. That is the worst fight in MMA history, and you know it.
That is true. But this is a close second.
No, it's not.
Neither man could throw a punch. One of them had more spirit. Esparza had the spirit. She had the oomph.
Don't you even do this with me. That is the worst fight ever in the history of MMA. It doesn't even come close. And you can't say that fucking Don Fry versus Ken Shamrock was worse, because let me tell you, that fight got botched from the beginning. Don't even say it. That fight got botched from the beginning. The reason why Carla Esparza versus Rose Namajunas 2 is the worst fight in MMA history is for a title. Number 2 is the main event. Number 3 is you thought maybe something would change and somebody would throw a punch at one point. No, they just stared at each other for 25 minutes.
Nice. But
Yes.
Yachi and Usami also looked at each other for a very long time, longingly in each other's eyes. And then one of them shot a takedown, and he was able to win because of it. So great job to Yusuke Yachi. You actually had the spirit of a fighter compared to your opponent, and that is what got you the win. So congratulations. Our next fight was Shoko Sato taking on Juntaro Ushiku.
Another terrible fight.
Okay, do you remember? It seems like you remember this fight more than I do.
I was watching a K1. I was scrolling through Douyu, which apparently Sean says he's been on Douyu. What the fuck were you doing on that website?
Watching some pretty unspeakable things, Skatesman, I'm pretty sure. Maybe his dealer was on there, and they were able to chat through that website. All right, so Sato took on Ishiku, and they had not even a scrap. They threw a few punches. One of them got a takedown, and it was Sato. Ishiko had a tough time stuffing the takedowns, and he got the takedowns, which is great. Golly gee willikers, what a great fight.
Oh, he said he was looking for K1. You're a fucking liar.
Oh, God. Okay. Next one, please. Here we go. Next up, he was doing it alongside Seika Izawa Superfan.
Let's go.
And we got Seika Izawa here.
Let's go.
Taking on Kana Asakura. The greatest fight on the entire card. Tell us why, Skate. So why was this the GOAT fight?
No, I want to hear your take. I want to hear your take on this fight first.
So let me actually think about this. She got the takedowns fairly easily. At the start of the fight, she was able to get her opponent down. Was scrambling all over the place, trying to find some good submissions. She got very close with them on occasion, and they got some oohs and ahs for the crowd, some excitement there. And then she wasn't able to finish her. And then the second round was happening, and then they threw a few strikes, and then Izawa shot a couple takedowns, and she got the takedowns very easily, and then went for submissions. They came very close, and she wasn't able to get them. You know, and there were times I got to give Asakura her credit, especially in the latter half of the fight. She was able to actually reverse positions and be on top of Izawa, which is crazy. That she's challenging the GOAT, physically overpowering the GOAT like this. It's crazy. And Asakura responded with trying to throw up submissions, and they got close, and they didn't work. And then she did some up kicks. Ooh, man, she got to those up kicks, and that was really brutal. Only expected of the greatest atom weight of all time. She threw some Charles Oliveira-esque kicks, you know, and that is truly a sign for greatness. And then they ended up on their feet, and then they threw a few punches, and then Izawa got her down, and she won.
Yeah, I was hoping for a more honest take from you, so I could kind of bolster it a little more. Well, now I can't really go into my bit, but so this fight was definitely, it was fun. Not one of Seika Izawa's best performances, but to be fair to her, she was on a 4-fight submission streak before this, and I've never seen a Kana Asakura fight. Apparently, she won a Grand Prix, which actually got her this fight, which wasn't for a title, which was very strange. So her family, it was announced before the fight that she would retire, and her family was actually in the front row, and it was kind of sad to watch. Like, they kept switching to her family as she was just getting fucked up by Seika Izawa. Seika Izawa pretty much dominated the entire contest, but Kana Asakura, man, she is a fucking very tough woman. There was a few close submission attempts from Seika, but Kana Asakura hung in there. Like you said, she reversed at one point, and she was landing some good strikes on Seika Izawa. I think the one thing that kind of gets lost, though, is the work that Seika did do when she had Kana Asakura up against the ropes. She landed a lot of very good strikes. And,
that is true. She got some good combinations off.
But the thing to talk about when you talk about Seika Izawa, who is now 14-0. Actually, happy early birthday to my girlfriend. Her birthday is in 2 days. Seika Izawa. Wow. So I wanted to say happy birthday to her.
Are you gonna give her the rock?
Yeah, I'm gonna propose. Good. Anyway, But no, the thing about her is she's a 2-promotion champion, Deep Jewels and RIZIN. She's defeated every other atomweight they have for her. She's cleaned out both promotions, and there's just no one for her to fight, really, man. And so I think when you get to that level, it's kind of hard to maintain it, right? But it's just nonetheless, this fight was not one of her best, but it's still just impressive to see the work she's doing at 14-0, and she got the win, so good for her.
Yep, fine work. And I guess Asakura is more deserving of a retirement video package than the Karate Hottie was. At least she was able to get out of positions.
I don't think so. I mean, I see what you're saying, but yeah, it was really strange. It was a good lead-in to the fucking long extended break. But yeah,
which at that point I pretty much cut out because it was already like 2:30, and I actually wanted to get some sleep. I went to bed after this fight. I heard from Isha, and I think it's apropos that in RIZIN they actually give you your flowers on your way out. They don't just like, let's have a little promo.
Somebody actually physically came in and gave her a bouquet. So yeah,
yes,
figuratively and literally.
Wait, let's read through some of these comments.
Yeah, that's what I was just about to do. Literally, anyway. I come in peace, Hank. Don't crucify me. What is happening between you and Juiceman?
It's not Juiceman's fault. I had a moment where someone came into the room as I was streaming. They didn't know that.
We don't even need to talk about. We don't even need to talk about that.
And why'd you fucking ask me?
I'm asking you what's going on between you and Juiceman. Was there a conflict?
Well, I shouldn't have said anything. And then Juiceman was like, "Oh, it's cool that they showed up on the stream. Nice little cameo." And then I wasn't yelling at him or angry at him. I think there was one point actually where he's like, "Oh, what's the big deal? It's not like there's a problem with that at all." And you had the same approach, Skatesman. But I'm very protective of my loved ones, so I will admit that maybe I lashed out a little bit, but it wasn't a Juiceman. It was just that.
Okay, so there is nothing going on. Okay. Sorry, Chummy Boy says also sorry for the backtrack, but Super Light Carry 1 right now is correct. Chaudhry's claim to fame is that he got the best striker and he's rewarded them accordingly. Age like milk. I agree. People and Chummy Boy is from Thailand, so his English isn't like perfect, but people ask him why Super Leg didn't get the same pay as Rod Tanger Stamp. He said Super Leg doesn't have that big of a fan base. Bullshit. He sold out a 21,000 fan arena in fucking Denver, Colorado, of all places. Smart man skates.
Yeah. John O'Malley of 1FC.
Who the heck are these Japs? Good to see you, Shiloh.
Yep.
The RIZIN fighters, bro. I mean, come on. He was telling me to STFU during the Moicano fight. That's what I'm talking about, dude. Hank was pissed at me. Eyes, I was Pico, they never lie. Scarface.
I was pissed at him because he literally didn't give Moicano one chance at one point and said that I was fucking crazy for picking Moicano going into. He's like, "Oh, what round does BSD knock out Moicano?" Like it was already in the bag. And literally this came after Imavov beating Allen when he was saying, "Oh, I got Allen." He was in no place to be uber confident and be like, "Oh, it's obvious that Benoit Saint Denis is going to win."
Okay, but
dude, I'm doing well.
You're always uber confident in every pick that you make, though. So why can't Juiceman be confident in his picks?
Because I wasn't putting it in people's faces and being like, "It's inevitable that this happens."
Your logic's falling apart. Logic's falling apart.
He was pushing it in my face, and he was the only one there, so maybe that added it, okay?
The scapegoat. All right, let's move up this card.
Exactly.
Hank's easy to get wound up. Yeah, you don't say. Thank you, Skate. I got your back, Juiceman. Skaters got to stick together.
It's what helps me. It's what drives me, is my emotions. But then we had a perfect pick from Hank the Tank. We had Razabali Shaidolayev beating Juan Archuleta by round 1 submission. Yeah, Archuleta is completely out of his prime. He is fully washed, and Shaidolayev
missed weight by 6 pounds for this fight.
Yeah, pretty sad, right? All for nothing. Shaidolayev is an expert on the ground. Once he gets you down, that's it. And Archuleta was taken down, and he is not the physical force or the get-up artist that he was in his youth, and he's dealing with the fucking... Oh, God, what's the fucking country with the red flag with the yellow circle in the middle?
Tajikistan.
Tajikistan. The Tajikistani fighter was just the better grappler here. Then, ironically, the grappler. And yeah, he subbed him fucking easy. The crowd went crazy. They actually gave a great reaction. So, hey, it's at least it's good that he lost to an undefeated prospect who has a little buzz behind him. But yeah, very sad news for Juan Archuleta. He should probably leave one after this. I don't think he stands to gain anything from being in the promotion anymore.
Kyrgyzstan is not a place. I think you're thinking of
Whoa!
Maybe that's.
Oh my God, Artem MMA is in the SkateTank MMA chat.
Don't blow the guy. But yeah, good to see you, Artem.
Well, dude, I'm just saying that I've actually watched a lot of Artem MMA's live streams and videos in preparing for Contender Series as well as other shows. So I have a lot of respect for him as an MMA predictor. So it's great to have you here in the SkateTank MMA, Artem. Glad to have you here as part of the SkateTank Army.
Yeah. Yeah, it's Kurz, not Tajik. Oh, okay. Word. Thank you. Yeah.
There you go.
You got a lot of Istan countries out there. So
yeah, I was going to say Kyrgyzstan.
But he did ask if you were he said Hank the Tank is undefeated, ?
Yes. Well, I was number 1 on the Rush Hour Tapology group.
Yeah, but you were 10 of 14. That doesn't mean you're undefeated.
Yeah, I was not undefeated, but I was undefeated and undisputed in my mind. And let me tell you, Artem MMA, when you're on the streets of West Lynn, Oregon, it's a tough place out there. And you got to have a good mentality and a very confident mentality. When someone litters on the street, are you defeated? Are you disputed? No, you are the undisputed champion of the world in MMA or not. So I went fucking flawless. I got every fight right. I got every method of victory right. Let me tell you.
Hey, look, we're at almost an hour into the show. Can we just get the show on the road?
Yeah, I took some L's. I will admit I took some L's, but it was a W in my heart. Then we had Yuki Motoya against Shinobu Ota. I'm proud of this pick because this was one of the few underdog picks that we had in the show. Ota is a pretty accomplished wrestler, and at least since his last fight with Yuki Motoya. And I predicted that it would largely be the same fight that it was before, with Motoya getting the better of the scrambles, having better stuff on the feet. I did not expect him to get the round 3 sub, but that's exactly what happened, dude. He out-wrestled the wrestler and got the late submission. I don't know how the first 2 rounds went because I was fast asleep during this, but from what I saw of the highlights, he was out-muscling Olympic wrestler. So great job to Motoya, and he is in prime shape, man. And this was a fight which I think RIZIN was planning to have Ota get a dominant win over Motoya, and it was the exact opposite. So great stuff. Very shocking upset.
Sean says, probably a bunch of addicts and hookers there in Oregon. Yes. Hank the Tank is the best predictor for sure. Really, because I actually have more wins than him for the year so far. But I will admit, my man does his research.
Yeah.
You guys just popped in my
flowers, my RIZIN flowers.
Yes. You guys just popped up in my recommended keep at it. Hell yeah. Thank you, bro. Appreciate that. The mean streets of West Lynn. Yes. Sometime my father didn't make 150K in a calendar year. I know. Poor Chael Sonnen.
Yeah. And I only have 1 car instead of 2. It's a travesty. Truly. Disgusting, man.
So you know what's hilarious about West Lynn, Oregon? My friend actually lived in Portland for a long time, and he used to be like the guy at the Walmart or the grocery store that would be like he would tackle people if they ran out of the store with something and get the cops involved. They transferred him to West Lynn for a time, and he asked them to send him back to the Portland area because nothing ever happened at the store in West Lynn. Nobody ever stole anything. So yeah. Fun little
that's impossible, Skatesman. West Lynn, Oregon is the center of crime, dude, and devastation and chaos.
It's the safest place in the Portland inside of the Portland area or near it.
Well, I know that Chael Sonnen told me something different, and who am I going to trust between Skatesman and Chael P? I'm going with Uncle
Definitely me.
Every single time. Okay, he's like a father figure to me. Okay,
yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
We had our It actually explains a lot of my picks and how I approach life in general. But then we have our co-main event for RIZIN. Naoki Inoue beat Soo-Chul Kim by, they say it's KO, TKO, close to the end of round 1, but it was actually Dr. Stoppage. Tell him Dr. Stoppage. And Inoue was just beating the shit out of Soo-Chul Kim. I said a lot about Kim having great head movement, Ronda, head movement. And he had no head movement. He was actually more of like a dirty boxer. I got to get into the clinch in order to hit you. Whereas Inoue, of all people, was like I'm the tall, lanky, young guy, and I'm just going to pick at you at range until you quit. And that's how this fight went for the most part. Kim was trying to get in close, Inoue distanced, quick jab, quick hook. And Kim was in big trouble from the word go. Maybe he had one moment where he hit an uppercut, and then the rest of it was just all one-way traffic from Inoue, and then the doctors had to come in and fucking stop it. It took a long while.
Why did they stop it?
Because it was pure domination, and he looked fucking gassed, dude. And I think he was bleeding as well, so he was bleeding all over his face. He was just a fucking train wreck, and all the referee and the officials were seeing it because they waved it off. And yeah, Inoue did it, dude. Another fucking Inoue, not the Naoya, but the Naoki.
Gray Shirt has a very distracting question, but he says, Hank, what did Tom say again in City Life Projects chat?
Are you talking about Tom? Oh, wait. Are you talking about Tom as in the fucking betting Tom? That guy who was an asshole? Oh, okay. Wow. I'm surprised that Gray Shirt even knows about this. So what happened is he was doing a bunch of gloating about his bets and, oh, yeah, you always got to trust me. You can't trust fucking Isha or all these casuals. Basically trying to pull a Funkmaster Flay. And he was just getting in everybody's faces in it, including the host, and just trying to make everything about himself. I think the event was Sandhagen versus Nurmagomedov. And then me and the other mods got tired of his fucking bullshit. And then one of us fucking timed him out. And then he came back. Everybody's victimizing me. I didn't do anything. This is an authoritarian regime. And then he showed up later and then it pretended like it was all cool in the Discord. And then I basically showed the fucking receipts, Ariel Hankwani style, 10-7'd him. And he can't escape from his past, man. The guy seems like a fucking narcissist. So just keep calling him out about it.
Fantastic, irrelevant tangent to the show. Hank doesn't know what the hood is. Am I snorting pre-workout, or isn't Inoue also in talks with the UFC? You're thinking about Kai Asakura.
Yeah. Gray Shirt knows everything. He does. Everything MMA guru and all the skeletons in his closet. So Guru's got to keep paying that man well. Then we have our main event, Roberto de Souza and Luis Gustavo. This was pretty shocking, to be honest. The narrative going into this fight was either Souza gets the sub or Luis Gustavo knocks him clean out or dominates him on the feet for 3 whole rounds. Ended up being the total and complete opposite. Roberto de Souza got the better of Gustavo on the feet and literally in 21 seconds had a fucking nasty left hand, right hand. I don't forget what the exact shot was, but he was just comboing him to death. And it like round 1, less than a minute, done. And then he did, yeah, that's me. And absolutely dominant stuff from the champ. People forget, man. He had 2 successful championship defenses going into this. So, yeah.
Yeah, he's definitely the dude. And I believe he's a lightweight, or is he a featherweight?
He's a lightweight champ. So
good shit. He says, no, there was 2 of them, Asakura and someone else. He thought it was Inoue. Asakura is going to get a debut versus Pantoja. I fucking sure hope so. I really don't know. I didn't know if there was another RIZIN fighter in talks to the UFC. I actually didn't know about it. So thanks for that info. But yeah, that was RIZIN. I fell asleep because Seika Izawa got a win. I could go to bed happy. So
yeah, exactly. And the night on a W. That's what I say.
Yeah, 100%. So one thing that I did not end the night on a W on was this card, UFC Paris Fight Night. I was not very impressed with this card. And there's Hank just leaving. See you later, buddy. But yeah, I don't know. To me, this card was pretty mid. Hank the Tank seemed to agree with me in the instant reaction, but I think that he's since changed his mind. What is your official rating, grade, score, or whatever for this card?
Guys, it's hard because I really didn't enjoy the prelims all that much, but ended up really liking the main card pretty much all the way through. So I think overall I would give it, given that there were a few submissions in the early prelims, and I would give it a 7. I'd give it a 7.
Yeah, Sean says
sort of in the middle.
Sean says 5. Yeah,
I think the main card
5 to 7 range is definitely the right pick. I think. I woke up at 5 a.m. for this. It could have been a lot.
Wow, that's coming from a guy who woke up at 5. So.
Word.
Hey, I'll take his opinion.
And again, maybe I think I'm just kind of souring on the UFC these days personally, but Oki losing to Duncan is painful. It was certainly painful because Oki, I thought he was actually beating Chris Duncan for the lion's share of the first round. Pretty clearly, just did a lot better work on the feet. He then shoots a takedown. I think he had actually had some ground control before the moment of the finish in that takedown attempt or takedown that just led to his demise. But then he gets back up and he has a terrible takedown. Duncan slaps up a ghillie on him and he appeared to make it out of the guillotine, but then he didn't. Yeah. He just literally was out. Chris Duncan's like, hey, this guy's fucking out. And yes, he was totally out. He had been choked out by the submission. And it was one of the stranger finishes. I don't think I've ever seen anything like that. But yeah, Duncan officially gets a first round submission. So good for him. It was definitely a really strange way to start the card. But always like when we get something new in MMA.
I agree.
Yeah. I'm also souring.
It's too bad that it was Chris Duncan.
I'm also souring on the UFC. PFL is painful to watch live with their pacing, and I don't believe in their tournament system. Yeah, it's definitely a setup half the time. MMA Guru Raid. Yeah, thank you, Taz. Good to see you. Contender Series also brings me back into it, though. I agree. Contender Series is the shit. Can I get a raid when you guys are done with this trash-ass stream? You got it, buddy.
Sure. Sounds good. But, yeah, it was very interesting. I think this was a typical example of negative fight IQ from a guy who's doing better on the feet and shooting in for takedowns when he really doesn't need to. I think Oki was pretty much outclassing Chris Duncan on the feet. For every shot that Duncan was sending Oki's way, he was falling back with 2 fucking counter shots. Super fast, using his height to his advantage. If he'd have kept this on the feet, I honestly think that Oki might have even smoked him in round 2 or round 3. But instead, for some reason, he had to go with his team's coaching and like, oh, every once in a while when you're doing good, shoot the takedown to like secure the round or something like that. Because Oki just decided, and let me tell you, like the takedowns were so fucking sloppy from Oki. Like, I'm pretty sure the first time he tried to take his opponent down, his head almost got caught in a submission hold. And then he was able to get the head out relatively quickly. But second time around, I just don't understand why he needed to shoot a takedown the second time. He was beating the crap out of him. He was actually like shaking Duncan a little bit. And then for some fucking reason, he just sent his fucking body forward like a spear and right into the Gilly Goose Gang, dude. And he taps out like a bitch. Really, really dumb move from
He didn't
Oki.
tap out.
Oh, no, he didn't. He didn't tap out. He was trying to get his head out, and I think a lot of people just thought that, oh, he got his head out. Now he's fine. But instead, it was out, and he just snoring right on top of fucking Duncan. And it got to the point where Duncan was having to be like, ref, he's out. And the old-ass ref was just like, oh, yeah, it's over. Yeah. Terrible work. The referee was dumb, too.
Definitely horrible work from the ref. Never at one point checked an arm or asked for like a thumbs up. And yeah, he goes out cold. But I just thought it was cool, even though it was weird, just to see like just something new. I've never seen that before. But yeah, the next fight was Jacqueline Cavalcante defeating Nora Cornhole. I picked Jacqueline because she had just fought a month ago. I thought that her kickboxing was looking really on point. And that's pretty much what happened here. Nora just kind of throwing a lot of sloppy shit. It was a pretty good fight, though. As much as it could have been. Jacqueline controls the action. The only thing of note that really happened was at one point in the third round, Nora turns her back and starts yelling at her coaches and was like, I got this. Don't worry about it. It was really strange to see. And it just kind of showed me that she was definitely defeated mentally in the fight, having a lot of problems with Jacqueline's kickboxing acumen. As far as Jacqueline, like, her future, she's looking really good, man. And I like her prospects, but the problem is this is 135 and the weight class is absolutely horrible and trash, as Taz said our stream is. So yeah, man. I like the work that she's doing, and I'll be watching her next fight with I don't know, interested eyes, I guess. That was kind of stupid.
Well, I'm not going to deny Taz's compliment. I mean, his insults, but I will not affirm it either. But I lean more towards he's got a point. Our personalities shine through, though, and they make the podcast what it is, in spite of our absolutely horrific production value. But Jacqueline Cavalcante,
it's mostly due to your internet being terrible. But
yeah, some of it. Well, I'll switch it up. I'll switch it up at some point. But oh, Jesus Christ! Well, there you go, Taz. Hasta la vista, baby. Cavalcante got the better work of Cornell on the feet. I think Cornell was doing a lot of leaning up against Cavalcante on the cage and trying to do some just little combinations up front. And Cavalcante was having none of it. I think it took her a little while to. I think she got the second and third rounds, and then the first round, you could say that went to Cornell because I think she had slightly better exchanges and had some more wrestling. But then Cavalcante got way better, started to get back into the groove, realized that she was the better, more technical striker out of the two of them. And picked her apart at range for the dominant decision. And once Cornell's game plan and her strategy went out of the window, she projected, dude, I got this, as Skatesman said. And she was a sort of an emotional wreck in the third round because I think she knew that she had met her match. And that's unfortunate, but I knew at the very least that Cavalcante was talented enough that even on short notice, she'd be able to beat the power puncher. But that's the thing, Skatesman. We have so many of these matchups with the technical tall lady against the short power puncher. And we saw with Souza and what was her name? The Mexican who was fighting at the UFC 306 card. She was doing great on the feet. And then, bam, Yasmin Urigue. That's right. Yasmin Urigue was looking great on the feet. And then Souza just knocked her out immediately. So this could have easily gone that way. But fortunately for us, he didn't. And that is why I lean towards the tall, more technical striker, because 9 times out of 10, they're going to outstrike the shorter, stockier power puncher. And that's what happened here. So great job to Cavalcante. I can't wait to see what she does in the future. Two fights in 2 months. Pretty good. She might turn into a Lupe Godinez.
Maybe she can actually pay her rent, unlike some other UFC fighters. But the next fight was Daniel Perez. There was really annoying shit from Michael Bisping going on throughout this whole entire fight. He was like, actually, did you know in Spanish it's pronounced Bere? You don't say the Z. And I know that because I actually spent some time. And it's like, dude, Michael, shut the fuck up. Commentate the fight. Anyway, I thought that this fight, you could have called it 2-1 for Victor. I had actually given every single round for Perez, but it was definitely closer in the later half. But Perez, man, this guy's got some hands. He got some hands despite his horrible record. This guy's got some hands, and he showed that because Victor Altamirano is a Taekwondo guy from Mexico, and if we know anything about Taekwondo guy from Mexico, Yair Rodriguez, they don't have the best hands, and Victor is also not very explosive. So he just kind of got out physicaled by Perez. When he did do good work on the feet in the second and third rounds, it was quickly just kind of countered by Perez getting a knockdown, or maybe not like an official, like actual clean knockdown, but yes, sending him down. And the last minute of the last round, he sent Victor like flying across the fucking cage. So that's why I gave it Victor 30-27. But nonetheless, I did think there may have been a case for I gave it to Perez 30-27. I think there could have been a case for Victor to win those last 2 rounds, but I think ultimately the right man got the win.
I agree. I think Perez had an excellent first round. Oh wait, can we switch to? We did.
Already
okay,
switched.
We're good. All right. I think Perez had a great first round. He sort of pulled a Vucenic, Jordan Vucenic, where he's like, "Oh, quick, fucking left hand dropped him." I thought, well, this is gonna go his way. Great. He best start you could possibly have, and he's just going to carry this momentum into the rest of the fight. But you can never count out the taller, lankier dude, because when they're put into a corner, they're going to use that size to their advantage. And in the second round, first round definitely went Perez's way, but in the second round, Victor Altamirano had good side kicks. He used that long fucking leg to keep him at bay of the distance, had a few leg kicks as well. Starting to put his combinations together as well, but I think it was really like the leg work that from Altamirano that was paying dividends. Perez started to feel like he wasn't getting his timing anymore. He was out of the fucking groove that he had in the first round. But then the third round, he got very lucky because his combinations started to get more unorthodox, and then the fucking power in his fists, he got to drop him right at the end, and Fustro dot him to the other side of the cage. So good work from Perez. I think that was able to clinch him the fight. I believe it was a split decision that ended up going Perez's way. But I said in the chat that, dude, I could easily see Altamirano taking this. And I was actually almost defeated going into that decision. I was surprised when Perez got the nod. But, dude, when you got that last-minute knockdown, that tends to change the judges' minds quite a bit. So good stuff from Perez, and he's got the power. And as long as he keeps thinking of different ways that he can deliver his combinations, I think he'll be able to knock a lot of people down, maybe even out. So,
yeah,
good stuff.
Definitely got some hands. Artem says Perez is his GOAT. Fun fact by Bisbee. Yeah. Bisbing was pissing me off. I cannot stand him, dude.
Was that a fun fact? Was that really fun?
Victor made so many mistakes in this fight. He really did, dude. And again, it's just like these Taekwondo dudes from Mexico, like they just don't have hands. Like, work on your hands, bro. But whatever.
I mean,
I thought there was a
case them to be the ones with the hands. Yeah.
Perez versus Lazy Boy next.
That'd be fun.
Take Skank Boxing. What's up, Dane? The next fight.
That was the name that we were supposed to use.
Yeah, it was. We almost actually made that. But Aline Perez defeats Dara Zelezniakova. First round, arm triangle. Embarrassing performance from Dara. Aline Perez pretty much just had absolutely no trouble getting it to the ground, locking up the sub. Good for her, I guess. I picked her by decision. Didn't go that way.
Yep. And I honestly don't remember that much of what happened in the fight before the submission, but pretty sure like Perez was leaning up against Daria, trying to get the takedown. Daria sort of neutralized some of the takedown attempts, I remember, but I don't think she did very well on the feet against Perez, or if she was, it was like more even than anything else. It was all based on the grappling. Then once Perez was able to outmuscle her and get her down, the choke came in pretty easily. I'm pretty sure it took her 10 or 20 seconds to find the arm triangle after she gotten him out. So easy work from Aline Perez. A lot of people were nervous for Perez coming into this fight because she looked super rickety when she was getting on the scales right before the fight. Skatesman was asking me if we should still stick with Perez because of how awful she looked on the scales. And I said, no, man, dude, this is a women's MMA contest where the grappling is the edge. And as long as Perez can get the takedowns, she'll find a way to win. And it was even more dominant than we thought. And it's the same fucking what's the word for it? It's the same fucking quote that you could look absolutely atrocious in the weigh-ins and look like a fucking skeleton and look like you got malnutrition. And then on fight day, all of a sudden, you're looking great because these people have more time to rehydrate and have some food and recover. So whoever was on Aline Perez's team who allowed her to recuperate after that nasty weight cut, good for you, because she looked great come fight day.
So officially, she lands 22 total strikes, a minute and 42 seconds of control time with 2 takedowns officially landed. Dara gets credited for 1 takedown, but really, I mean, who gives a shit about that fight? No. But the more interesting story of the fight, I think, is that as soon as Aline Perez gets the submission, she then twerks in the face of Zelezniakova, which was
nasty.
I mean, kind of disgusting to see. And I'm honestly just getting tired of this girl. Her entire bit is that I have a nice ass and I shake it, and it's like, I guess cool. do it after your fights. That's your bit. But like, it's just a constant thing. It's like, dude, I get it. You shake your ass. Good for you. Me personally, I'm just having like torque fatigue.
Yeah, I agree. And I at one point when I was chatting with people, I compared this to Derek Lewis when he's taking off his shorts, where it's like, hey, it was funny the first time, and then now you're really like it's starting to get out of hand, and now you're just like trying to shove it in our face that that's your gimmick, and now no one's laughing, and in fact, we think it's fucking gross now. So once these guys they become one trick ponies and they don't know what else to do. Brow Rosas Jr., Chiwiwi. He's going to keep fucking doing that. Yeah. Maybe that'll keep getting over, but after 2 more fights, dude, people aren't going to give a shit about that catchphrase anymore. So these fighters need to start fucking switching it up and be more like Money Moicano and have something new and memorable to say every single time. Do like a naked train, you know?
Artem says Daria just has no grappling at all. Yeah, clearly she doesn't. Dane says, stay away from strippers and ER nurses. I caught the clap from one of these in 93. Well, that just shows how old Dane is. Great life advice. Yes, thank you. Argentina beats Russia on the ground. Oof. Patty did the same thing to Jordan Leavitt. LOL. Yeah, but that was actually like funny because Jordan Leavitt was twerking after his victories, and I think Patty just wanted to do it back to him. Right. It was a one-time thing. Patty's not twerking every fucking fight, so. Miss Weight,
it's even more shameful that Daria has no wrestling or grappling, and she's of Russian fucking origin, and she has 0 wrestling whatsoever. Shameful.
Yeah, it was definitely interesting. Not. Miss Weight, beat a can, shake my ass, gained 60,000 followers. Yeah, I saw a post where one of the fighters, it may have even been Moicano, like gained like 10,000 followers, and Aline Perez gained 60,000 after this fight. So yeah,
there is no justice in the world, Skatesman.
Shows you the sad state of the world we're in. The next fight was Sterolapolis versus Vince Morales. So I have never picked one of these fighters' fights correctly. So I was like, hey, I'm going to pick Vince Morales, so that means bet on Sterolapolis, who was the favorite. Yeah, so Sterolapolis beats Vince Morales handily. And what I gathered from this fight is early on, you could tell how the fight was going to go. It was a pretty kickboxing match. And I said, as long as it's a nice technical kickboxing match, Vince Morales is not going to win this fight. He needs to make it dirty in a dog fight. Dog fight.
Botch.
But he needs to make it fight. And yeah, Sterolapolis, good for him. He gets another win. He looks, as Anakin says, he looks crisp with the striking. Yeah, totally. I think he has a pretty extensive kickboxing record. But he's got to start making some noise, get some finishes. But overall, he looked. And I finally learned: don't ever pick a fighter from your area. If he's from, I live in Idaho, obviously. If he's from Oregon or Washington, fade him. Fade him. There's no fighters from Idaho, so I don't have to worry about that. But just fade him. From the Northwest, make sure you fade him.
Yeah. I was expecting Vince Morales to have a lot more for Lapalus in the grappling, given that he had won his 4 out of his last 5 fights by submission, and I'm assuming that was those submissions were coming from on top. But I saw hardly any of it from Vince Morales. Maybe in the later rounds, Morales tried to do a little bit more grappling, or even if he did, it was because Lapalus slipped or something. I think there was one time where Morales was on top, and the rest of this thing was pure striking, which was a huge mistake from Vince Morales because he tried to have a fucking stand and trade war with Lapalus. So Lapalus is
officially 99 total strikes to Vince's 49.
Yeah.
But yes, there was. I guess he did get 2 takedowns, and he had 3 minutes of control time. Don't really remember that, but
that was towards the end. Because I remember, I think Vince Morales was starting to outmuscle Lapalus towards the end, but by then it was way too late because he'd already won 2 rounds. Really bad fight IQ from Vince Morales to not start the fight trying to out wrestle him, and instead try to prove something in the striking. Didn't work out for him whatsoever. Lapalus is super clean with it, super quick, put together his combinations perfectly, had good knees up the middle. France needed a W after Cornell's loss, and they got it here with Lapalus because he popped the crowd. It's lapless, so he's obviously not going to get a finish. There was a moment, though, in round 1 where I was thinking to myself, dude, he could actually get a finish if he really put his heart and soul into trying to knock out Vince Morales. But he did the lapless way and just like, oh, I'm going to hit him with a little knee to the body. Oh, I'm going to hit him with a check left hook and then 1-2. Yay, for me, I'm going to win. And
is that what their lapless sounds like?
Yeah, that's totally him, the Black Frenchman. That he sounded like a worm in a New York crime film. Yep. But yeah, then Vince Morales actually tried to get a submission way too late. Not very smart, especially when this is the fight that either makes you or breaks you in the UFC. But I hope he does well in the regional scene because he looks sick whenever he's on the regionals.
It's so true, he does. So the next fight was Ludovic Klein taking on Roosevelt Roberts. Pretty clear that Klein was going to win this fight, and let me tell you, is at this point in the card, you thought that there was a case for Roosevelt Roberts to win the fight?
No. I mean, while it was happening, like in terms of Klein's performance, like it started to look a little more scary as the fight went on, in my honest opinion.
Not for me. I mean, I said heading into this one that Klein, when he first came into the UFC, he was looking like living up to the nickname of Mr. Highlight. Got a lot of finishes, looked really good. But then he just started going on decisions. And I think he does have a knockout in a recent fight. But it's kind of like a guy like Nathaniel Wood, right? Every time he wins, you're like, ugh, that wasn't really impressive.
Exactly.
And a guy who got kicked out of the UFC and went through tough and is now back in Roosevelt Roberts. Klein should have had a much more impressive performance here, and he fell short of that. And exactly, as Dane says, didn't look like a minus 1,000 favorite. No. So yeah, man, just another kind of underwhelming moment for Ludovic Klein here at lightweight. And yeah, man, it definitely took me out of the card, man. It's at this point where I was getting really, really tired of this fucking card. And
Yikes.
Yeah, good win for Ludovic Klein. He moves on, but yeah, and as you can see, as Hank picked as well, we both thought he would get a knockout, but yeah, I said he needed to get one in order to just move up the rankings. I think he's probably going to get a tougher fight than he may have anticipated. From a guy not so high up the rankings next. So
I think honestly, this was our main problem was that we thought, Mateusz Rebecki was able to completely outmuscle him and get an arm bar and just crush him.
Not me.
On the ground. So he's going to be like a tiny guy compared to Ludovic Klein, right? Dude, he sort of towered a little bit over Ludovic Klein. Now, he had the height advantage over him, and it showed. Like,
for one moment.
Yeah, for one moment. And I could
I'm saying like I looked at the stats before the fight. Like obviously Roosevelt Roberts was way taller than Ludovic Klein, so yeah, I don't know why you thought that.
That was my mistake. I didn't have that in my mind. I just viewed him as a little guy based on his last fight, but that was not the case at all. And smart enough from Roosevelt Roberts, he showed that he could actually take advantage of his height advantage, and he just had better stuff in the striking for Ludovic Klein in the first round. I think you could actually make an argument that he could have won that first round just based on the striking numbers. But then in round 2, I think Roberts made a terrible mistake, and he I don't know even how it happened. He just tripped over at some point, and then Klein was like, "Okay, I'll be on top," which was a smart thing of Ludovic Klein. And he's Ludovic Klein's pretty bad at finishing fights once he's on top and in mount, because he was in mount but still doing little pitter patter shots, pillow shots to the side of the head. Not a lot of elbows down the middle. He's not Money Moicano on top of his opponent. He is more like Valentina Shevchenko, and that made this fight really, really boring.
One thing that's good is you can say that Ludovic Klein's overall MMA game has improved. But yeah, just the excitement level was down, and that's going to hurt him, in the long run. But again, he got the win, so good for him.
It is what
our next fight was Omar Sy versus Da-Un Jung. Hank the Tank told me, he's like, Omar Sy, he's a grappling wizard. He's gonna get the submission so fast, and you're gonna be impressed. I was not impressed at all with this man's performance. It was terrible, dog shit fight. Omar Sy, though he did get the win, and he actually showed that he can strike with a guy like Da-Un Jung, who was not top of the heap at all, and still a guy who's young in his career. He moves to 11-0 after this victory. But yeah, man, this fight was dog shit. terrible fucking fight. Fuck this card.
Yeah. As I said before, the prelims were real bad for this one. Also, I agree with Anakin MMA's opinion that 307 is a fight night card without the main event. Yeah, and the main card is booked like absolute shit. Like some of the worst decisions in the whole calendar year for the UFC are in that main card alone.
What do you think about his comment that Klein is top 15 ready now?
Yeah, it's the same guys who say that Nathaniel Wood is top 15 ready.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, so there you go. Yeah, with C here, he had no opportunities for getting a submission that I recall. Like there was never a point where Jung was in trouble on the ground. Like I just remember C was trying to do a stand-up war and get some sort of finish on the feet. What the fuck are you doing, man? You're the submission guy. You're supposed to be trying to take this guy down or get him into his position where you get an easy guillotine or a Darce choke or something. But he tried to outstrike Jung on the feet, and he had his moments of success on the feet where he was cracking him with the bigger shots, and Jung was stumbled a little bit. But honestly, this was pretty shit. Sort of reminded me of Zachary Reese, where I was like, this guy's going to get a first-round finish. And then it's just like, oh, it's out just shit striking for 15 minutes, and he's lucky that he won it. It was one of those performances. So definitely fade Omar Sy in the future when he goes against someone with actual power in his fists and striking capability. Forget everything anybody said about French John Jones shit. They are on the Kool-Aid. So
who said that?
Few MMA predictors I was watching, dude. They actually they compared him based on his like physical advantages and how he was getting his fights done, but you wouldn't know it from watching this fight. So, but the way that our predicting works, he's going to get a first round sub in his next fight, and then we're all going to look stupid based on our takes on him in this fight. But yeah, sometimes that's how it goes.
Well, anyway, the next fight was Ion Cutelaba versus Ivan Ursulin, a guy from KSW. Who was getting a lot of knockouts before his debut. As my good friend Degenerate Dane always tells me, fade the Polish because they come off of KSW, they get off of that cycle. I had picked Ion Cutelaba, I picked Ursulin to get a knockout, and that did not happen. Yeah, I'm trying to hide this comment. Ion Cutelaba definitely looked a lot more patient in this fight. And it was good to see him just kind of tone it back. I think he really needed this win because he was on a pretty big losing streak. And he definitely fought like it. But Ivan Ursulin, man, like he definitely had his moments. But overall, pretty clear win for Ion. Every time he would throw a strike, it was just a lot louder. You could, see the impact, judging the fight. And, I am terrible at picking Ion Cutelaba fights. And that trend continues. What did you think of the fight?
I'm actually pretty impressed with Cutelaba that he was able to sort of switch up his style and have a more mellow approach to the fighting, because honestly, I think whenever he's janky and he's super chaotic and he's trying to make it a real fight, he ends up making one mistake that costs him dearly. Like I've never seen an Ion Cutelaba fight before this one where he's never like tripped on himself for some reason or just like spinning all over the place after he tries to throw a strike, but or do some sloppy takedown attempt where it doesn't even look like a takedown and he somehow finds his way on top. Like Cutelaba was super precise and just outboxed Ivan Ursulin for most of this thing, and then when he needed the takedown, he got the takedown and did fantastic work on top and actually did damage to Ursulin. I don't think Ursulin won one round of this. Like maybe there were some moments where he hit him with a flush shot, but never anything that wobbled Cutelaba. Like Cutelaba, he needed to have a performance like this to stay in the UFC. I hope they don't cut him after this because he actually showed improvement for once in an Ion Cutelaba fight. And now he's taking a more patient approach to fighting and more relaxed and less like frenetic. And now we're realizing that when Cutelaba cleans up the striking, he's actually pretty good with it. So great job for Cutelaba. I was sad just because my picks aren't really doing as great as I thought they would, so I wasn't that high off the win of Cutelaba. But now in hindsight, I'm very happy for him. I'm glad we get to see more Green Man in the future.
I agree with you, Anakin. Eon is still bad, 100%.
Yeah.
But the next fight. The next fight was when the card started to finally pick up. For SCM, sends Matt Frivola to the Shadow Realm. He lands a vicious knee right on the face of poor old Matt Frivola. He gets steamrolled, and he is out fucking cold. It was fantastic. For SZM, I always forget how fucking tall this guy is, dude. And he's a lengthy kickboxer. He definitely controlled the fight at range a lot of the time, landing good kicks, straight shots down the middle. While Frivola was going in for the loopy shit and just trying to get Fares out of there. Never happened. And he paid for it dearly. There was a moment, the fight finishing sequence was Frivola did have Ziam down, and it looked like he appeared to be doing some good work. But once they got up from the clinch, Frivola did not mind his P's and Q's, and he got fucking slept for it. And those last two shots on the ground just added insult to injury. Yes. So yeah, fantastic win for SZM. Did not expect a knockout, but in hindsight, I should have realized this guy was more of a kickboxer. For some reason, I was thinking he's like a grappler, but no, he's a very tall French kickboxer, and a good win for him.
Yeah. Frivola did his best work in the first round in terms of following the game plan of what I wanted Frivola to do, which is integrate the takedown.
And that's all that matters, right? What you want the fighters to do.
Exactly. And when they don't, they get Hank the Tank's fucking punishment for it because I'm the head
Hank
honcho.
gets depressed.
Yes, and the promoter. But, well, yes, I am depressed most of the time. Frivola was on top. He got the submission hold on top. He came really close to getting the guillotine, and I thought, oh, my God, this could be it. But, you know, it's a professional level of MMA, so nobody should be tapping to guillotines unless your name is Balaji. Oh, no, I should be losing to guillotines unless your name is Balaji Oki. Ziam got out of it, of course. They're in the UFC, and someone's jumping a guillotine. Then they got to his feet, and, yeah, this was one-way traffic for almost the entire fight. Ziam was the taller fighter. He took advantage of that. Good leg kicks down the middle. When they were in the exchanges, Frivola had absolutely nothing for Ziam. Like, I don't remember one moment where Frivola was like, ooh, he caught him with a big shot. Like, he never caught him with anything good. Ziam was the one hitting him with big elbows and hooks and getting him in clinches and kneeing him to the body and just beating the absolute shit out of Frivola, especially in that third round. Yeah, he was beating the brakes off of Frivola, and he was looking bad, dude. He was looking real hurt. And then, unfortunately, despite how much punishment he was giving to Frivola, it was all of a sudden the last couple of minutes of the third round in the fight, and it was like, wow, he didn't get a finish after all that. And then, dude, I don't even remember it being 2 minutes and 59 seconds when he got that last second KO. I thought it was like 20 seconds or 10 seconds before the fight was over when he hit it. But, dude, last fucking second knee to the head. Great stuff. I'm glad that he had him in the perfect position to hit that knee right up the middle. Absolutely brutal. He was out. Bam, flatlined. And then, like you said, he did the fucking Danny Gay. One more punch on top for good measure before I walk away. He's called the Smile Killer, but there was nothing but smiles on the French fans' faces after this one. So good job to ZM. He needs to get rid of the nickname, though.
So now, yeah, it's a horrible nickname. Now for SZM is on a 4-fight win streak.
Wow.
What is the next fight for him that you want to see?
I mean, it's gotta be
by the way, Anakin, that is a horrible matchup. Manuel Torres just lost. So don't give Manuel Torres a guy on a 4-fight win streak, bro.
Yeah, it's got to be somebody in the top 15, I think, because he just
in the top 15. Look, dude, lightweight is such a fucking. It's such a Shark Tank up there, and I'm using Tapology as rankings. There's another fighter on a 4-fight win streak, Drakkar Klose. I think that would be an okay fight. There's also Nazrat Hakparas down the rankings a little more, but yeah. I do agree you should get somebody a little higher. Ludovic Klein is an interesting prospect.
They're on the same show. Book them against each other.
Be on the same terms. I think a more interesting fight, a little more sexy of a fight, is Joel Alvarez.
That's true. Yeah, battle of the prospects. Although,
and they're both super tall lightweights.
Yeah, that actually makes a lot of sense.
I like that.
Or Ludovic Klein. That's the top two, I'd say.
Word. Carlos Diego Ferreira. I don't hate it.
He's tough as a fucking boot, dude. He might actually survive that fight.
Good old CDF. This next fight, I was not able to watch very closely because Hank the Tank was having some issues and I had to jump in. So barely watched this fight. I knew, though, that Gabriel Miranda was a terrible fighter. And I knew that Morgan Charrier wasn't that good of a fighter. That's why I picked him by decision. Then I remembered he's the guy that looks like XX Tentacion every time he comes out for a fight. But yeah, again, Anakin, I'm pretty sure Jalen Turner's coming off of a lot. Like, why do you guys want to see fighters on long win streaks go up against guys coming off of losses? I do not understand this logic.
It's the same reason you have guys with losing records against guys with winning records in RIZIN. You just want to see some fucking bloodshed.
Yeah, but like from a matchmaking standpoint, that shit's terrible. That makes no sense.
Yeah. Save that.
He just got TKO'd by Renato Moicano. He beat Bobby Green and then lost 2 fights to Dan Hooker and Gamrot before that. Like that is terrible, terrible fucking matchmaking. You want Turner to hold up
wants guys who are both have wins to go against.
Oh no! Oh geez! Wow, what's wrong with that? Like, why is that a bad? That's good matchmaking. That's what should fucking happen.
Not when it's the top 5 and someone lost a title fight. Now they have to prove themselves against someone who's going up the rankings. It's just how it works. It's how it's.
Yeah, this wasn't a fucking title fight though, dude.
Yeah, but I feel like someone who's lost against someone who's won has been the formula for fucking decades. Why is all of a sudden, it's weird to have that kind of matchup? That's the way it's been. I don't get really when. I've seen it in fucking boxing for a pretty long time.
Okay, boxing. This is the UFC. I'm just saying, like, just from my eye, like, I would rather see guys coming off of wins go up against guys coming off of wins, especially guys coming off of knockout wins going up against the guys with knockout losses. That makes no sense to me. If there's enough time between fights, I think that's an okay, idea for a matchmaking. But I mean, seriously, guys, it makes no fucking sense to me. But nonetheless, Morgan Charrier gets a knockout, a clean left hand as Gabriel Miranda was stepping back. Looks like a shot he never saw coming. Definitely impressed with this knockout. Got a pop from the French crowd, but good for him. He has a terrible record.
Yep. Gabriel Miranda. God, did he even try to shoot for a takedown at any moment in this fight? I think maybe he did.
Let's find out.
Early half, I think.
I will pull it up.
I don't think it worked that much. I think Charrier was just beating the shit out of him for most of this thing. And then he got really good timing with the left hook. I think he was in the clinch or trying to have some sort of grappling sequence.
So total strikes 28 for Morgan.
Hey, got 1
for
Charrier got it.
Gabriel Miranda. Morgan gets 2 takedowns he's credited with 2 minutes of control time, and Gabriel Miranda 1 takedown with a minute of control time and no sub attempts.
So I think this was mostly just work on the feet, or if Charrier had the takedown, it was so he could set up some punches on the way up. They got into a grappling exchange or some sort of clinch, I remember, in round 2, and then Miranda was able to break it, and Charrier immediately fired with the left hand around the guard and hit Miranda clean, and down he went. Easy stuff. Didn't really have to follow up with anything on the ground. He knew he had knocked him out, and then he did his little fucking TikTok talk, Frenchman. Oh, I'm a little guy. I'm a little gnome. doing a little dance around the octagon after he won. And then I think from what I remember, he cut a solid promo that popped the French crowd. So he did exactly what he needed to do and got the nasty KO finish in front of the French. So good for Charrier. That's going to build up his stock. And he's going to always be Mr. Reliable when UFC returns to Paris, if he wins his fights before that.
So I've been accused of wanting Turner to hold up the rankings. Not at all. I mean, he's going to drop in the rankings from like coming off of a loss. So yeah, I mean, there's plenty of guys coming off of losses at lightweight that can get a fight with a guy like Jalen Turner. But I guess I do understand. I mean, the thing is he just got knocked out not even that long ago by Renato Moicano. Like, give it some more time before you match up a guy finishing dudes. To give him a fight like that is, I guess, all I'm saying. But yeah. The next fight was Brian Battle versus Kevin Jousset. Was an interesting little scrappy fight. Both these guys are not very good, is what I really learned in this fight. Very sloppy. But you know what? Brian Battle gets the knockout. Good for him. Gets a TKO due to like a flurry of punches. And I think the bigger story is what happened after the fight. But yeah, give me your breakdown.
I think Let me think actually about like what were the other fights that took place on this. I honestly think that this was fight of the night. I'm surprised that he didn't get awarded the fight of the night bonus because I think it was just an all-out war between Battle and Giussette. Did not expect Giussette to do as well as he did in terms of the timing, just because based on the fact that he looked super tentative in that Song Kanan fight where he had Kanan hurt at one moment or another, and then he just refused to follow up with anything and was more like, oh, I'm going to outstrike him or I'm going to take him down to show my grappling dominance. No, dude, Brian Battle finds a way to get the battle out of his opponents almost every single time. There was this other guy like CJ something, and they had like a fight, two fights.
Oh, yeah, CJ something, my favorite fighter.
Yeah, great one. And they went just back and forth. It was lasted like 30 seconds, and it was just all out. Okay, I'm going to swing. You're going to swing, and whoever hits the guy with the biggest shot wins. And Battle won the exchanges. And I could almost say that this is sort of like that fight, except it's extended for 2 more rounds, where Giussette was getting the better of Battle in moments and just knocking his head back. And then I think Battle had the better, slicker combinations of the two of these guys. Giussette got off some big shots, but Battle was mostly like controlling the exchanges for the most part, like better in the pocket. So I would say Battle won the first round, but not by much because Giussette at points was hitting him with a pretty big blow. But then once the second round happened, I think that Kevin Giussette started to gas out a little bit and started to be more on the back foot with Battle pressuring forward. Like Giussette was hitting him with some good jabs and some good uppercuts. And then, Battle just took it on the chin and just kept on pushing forward. And then once he had him against the cage, like that's when Battle was really like teeing off and going to work because Giussette is not good on the back foot, not good up against the fence. And Battle was just able to lay into him with right hand over and over again. Giussette was covering up. He couldn't respond with anything. And yeah, Battle had the better output of the two of them, and that's what won him the fight. I wish that it was like a more fun finish. Like I wish Battle just hit him with something. Oh my God, that flatlined him. It's over. What a fucking war. But instead it was like, oh, he hit him with something, and now Giussette's running away, and the referee just waves it off like between them. Yeah, but for what was everything that was happening before that was exquisite. Great fucking fight. And then, why don't you break down Battle's promo afterwards?
Well, yeah, so he basically gets booed intently by the French crowd for beating up the Frenchman. And then he basically says, no, screw you. Oh, he said, fuck France. Fuck you guys. Every time you boo me, I just get stronger. Your hate fuels me. And he flipped up off the French crowd. It was fantastic. A lot of hate for France on this card, man. It was fantastic. Yeah. I love seeing
there is some pent-up frustrations from Americans for this country for some reason. So it's almost like they're, wounds from World War II that haven't quite healed just yet, Idaho Skatesman. I don't know why,
Give me a pick for Brian Battle for his next fight. I can list off some names for you if you'd like.
Go for it.
Okay, so you have him at 24 in Topology's rankings. The 3 guys ahead of him are already booked. The next 2, though, 20 and 19, are fights that I really like for him. Mm-hmm. You got Chaos Williams, and you've got Carlos Prates.
I would book him against Chaos Williams.
I think Carlos Prates is on a fucking hell of an exciting run. He probably deserves a higher ranked fighter.
Yeah, and I honestly think it's sort of like booking Cameron Simon against Peyton Talbot, where it's just like, dude, why would you do it to this guy? This guy's gonna get fucking victimized in there. Like you're killing good talent when you put him against even better talent, and now he's just gonna get flatlined. It's the same thing. Like if you put Battle against Prates, I think Prates knees him up the middle with a huge body shot and just 1-2 fucking puts him out cold. Whereas against Chaos Williams, there's Williams could hit Brian Battle with a big shot, but those two would definitely like trade more. And it'd be like more, who's gonna get the better? It would be more even compared to Prates. I feel it would just be a Prates beatdown. If
Anakin wants Battle versus Magny.
Wow, cruel and unusual punishment once again for
another terrible matchmaking suggestion there, Anakin. But good try. Good try. I'll read your comment regardless.
I mean, it's worth a shot. At least he tried.
Our next fight is William Gomes versus Joe Anderson Brito. Did not watch this fight super close, but from what I saw, it seemed like Brito had won the majority of the fight. Actually, I think it'd be good once you break it down to kind of pull up the stats. But some people were saying now over on the Rush Hour Fight Club side of things, everybody said this is a straight up fucking robbery. Hopped over to City Life to get a more clear and sober take on the fight. Everyone's like, yeah, it was close. Could have went either way. It was a toss up. I just, from what I saw, and again, I wasn't watching super close, but it seemed like Brito was just controlling the fight, landing, maybe not landing the bigger shots. Maybe that's what hurt him, is Gomes was kind of staying more composed in there. I said I would watch this fight back. I never did. Yeah, it just seemed like Brito was putting on more of the pressure, had him on the ground, had him in submissions. And I just thought that it was a pretty clear win for Brito. But apparently it wasn't. Why don't you break it down for me, man?
Yeah, I just feel like Brito.
Real quick. Paulman, what is up, bro? Good to see you, man.
Hey, Paulman, good to see you. Yeah, I just feel like Brito fumbled the bag in a lot of moments where he shouldn't have been pressured against the cage. He shouldn't have been taken down, and he allowed himself to get taken down by William Gomes. Didn't pull a fucking Jonathan Pierce where he did something, boy. Brito didn't do all that much once he was taken down. Took him too long to get to his feet, allowed himself to get pressured a lot and hit against the fence by William Gomes. He was better in the exchanges on the feet when it was just conventional stuff. He was getting the bigger shots, but not enough, I think, to be really decisive. I think round 2 is definitely decisive in Brito's favor, but I feel like Gomes just did a lot of good work. And okay, the 6 minutes of control time. Well, yeah, Brito. Insane. And that's what now I remember. I think Brito did a lot of leaning on Gomes. There were times where they were going back and forth. It's one of those fights. They just rotate on the fence. Okay, I lean against you. You lean against me. But Brito didn't do anything when he had Gomes against the cage. He wasn't trying to go for take him down or rain heavy shots on him. He didn't even elbow him that much on the break. I didn't really see Brito's game plan and have him against the fence, whereas Gomes was always I'm going to pressure you a little bit, and then I'm going to hit you with something. And then we're going to, break, and then we're going to separate. And then Brito, I don't know, man. He was just on fucking autopilot NPC mode in moments, and especially I think that lost him the third round because he was keeping Gomes against the fence and not doing anything when he really needed to get off a few more shots in order to win the third round and hit him with something big, and he just never did that towards the end.
So officially, the attempted strikes are pretty damn close, but the total do lean in Gomes' favor. The significant, he almost doubled him up there. Head strikes, body strikes. Most of Brito's strikes were leg kicks, but he does accrue 640 of control time, and 3 takedowns, 2 submission attempts. I think that's probably why people were calling it a robbery. But yeah, I mean, just from looking at the stats, it seemed like Gomes landed, just the better shots. Maybe not the bigger shots, but yeah, he was definitely more on the volume and stuff like that.
Brito never had a moment where it was just oh, he really wobbled Gomes. Oh, he really hurt Gomes with that shot.
Yeah, like I said, he did throw a lot of big looping strikes, but it seemed like he never really clipped him with one. The pills are kicking in, says Dane. Gomes is the next big thing. Yeah, I don't think so.
Not really.
Gomes was my pick, but clear robbery, says Juiceman. Sorry, what was that?
It was not a clear robbery at all. I was questioning if Anakin MMA was secretly Illcat in disguise, but that is yet to be confirmed or denied. We'll see.
That was Juiceman that had that comment.
Yeah. Have you spoken about Battle of the Savage?
Yes, we did.
Calling out
Brito versus Steve Garcia next. Gomes versus Giga or Cater Barboza to break in the rankings.
That's interesting. I mean, Giga and Gomes are actually sort of similar in terms of in terms of height, their build, and then they're very technical on the feet. It's actually not bad.
Giga just lose a fight.
He did, and Skatesman has a big problem with that.
I'm just saying, it's
because
he literally just lost. He lost.
Yeah, it was not a robbery in my opinion because I felt like Gomes won the third round, and I even was telling the chat dude, this could easily go Gomes' way. Everybody's saying Brito's got this. I really don't think Brito's got this. Could be a split, and then wouldn't you know it, it's a fucking split decision, and it goes Gomes' way because Brito didn't do enough in round 3, and that's just on Brito. You don't need to fucking defend Brito to hell or high water MMA community because he fumbled the bag in round 3.
So,
if anything, to be blaming Brito for not doing enough.
So
Which is not
featherweight is
typical of Brito.
looking really good these days, regardless
It
of what way you think this fight should have gone or didn't. So William Gomez in Topology is 24. Below him is Yusuf Zalal. That's interesting. And again, I don't think this was like the most exciting performance from Gomez. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. So, Nate the Train, 23. Andre Philly, 22. Steve Garcia, 21. I think that Steve Garcia on this knockout streak deserves a higher ranked opponent than a guy like William Gomez. But to be fair, he did take out Brito, who was 17 at the time. And then just outside of the top 15. I mean, I don't know why he needs to break into the rankings necessarily in his next fight. This was not the most exciting performance. So I do sort of disagree with that take from Anakin. But yeah, I mean, your top 10 and down is Cater. Coming off of 3 losses, Anakin. Giga Chikadze, win-loss in his last 4. Just lost the decision to Arnold Allen. Don't think that's the worst matchup, but still, I don't know. It doesn't seem like an exciting fight to me. I think that's Edson Barboza, I guess enough time has passed since that fight. But I think, like, I think that I kind of like the Yusuf Zalal fight. Maybe you give him a guy like Andre Fili, or maybe Nathaniel Wood.
Yeah, I agree.
Brito was ranked 17. Yeah, I know. I just read that, but okay. I get it. They lost, but why do you keep him? Why do you want him to keep fighting down? I didn't suggest that he fights down, though. But he definitely just took out number 17. Definitely a good win. Just the fact that the win wasn't very exciting, and you got guys like Steve Garcia coming up the rankings that are getting finishes. Like, I don't think that matching them two up is really going to be the best use of the matchmaking. Hank, what the F? What were you watching? I think you were still losses at that point, bro, and that was a clear robbery. Again, I think in the moment it seemed like a robbery. To me, at least, it did, and I didn't watch the fight very close. But it's always good to just get different people's perspectives on the fight.
Well, if you check back the tape of my reaction to the fight, I literally said in the first round, wow, that was a really close round. Honestly, that could have gone either way. I had no clear winner of round 1, and then I said at the end of round 3, man, Brito didn't really do enough.
I don't think we need to keep hammering this home.
Third round. It's the Skatesman method of, if a fight looks close and there's no definitive rounds for anybody, how could you call that a robbery?
Yeah, I agree.
At the end of the day.
And again, I totally thought it was a robbery at first. Didn't go back and watch it, but I will concede that I didn't really watch the fight very closely, because honestly, I was really tuned out of the entire card at this point. Which is why when we get to talking about this next fight here, Nasruddin Imavov versus Brendan Allen, the fight was good, but was it great? No. Did Brendan Allen have success? Yes, he did. But yeah, very clearly, Nasruddin Imavov just won every round, right? I don't think that that's controversial to say. But it doesn't look super good in this fight. Just kind of maintains his spot. To me, it seemed like Brendan Allen didn't really have that fire in him, that dog in him, as much as he should have in this fight. He just seemed like a lot slower. But honestly, dude, Nasruddin Imavov has a way of doing that to fighters, right? Just slowing down the fight, making you fight at his pace. And it seemed like that's what he did here. Though the fight was decent. Again, was pretty checked out at this point. Didn't watch the fight super close. Tell me about it.
Yeah, I will say that Allen got really lucky in the first round, where they were going back and forth on the feet. Imavov looked like he was the faster of the two, and then Allen. Actually, I forget that people forget, man, that Allen was actually pressuring forward from the start of that first round. Like, he was getting up in Imavov's grill. Like, he was not at a distance. He was really close, and that allowed him to set up the takedown in the first round and get Imavov down to the ground. And Allen definitively won that first round because he kept Imavov down. He got a few like little, pitter-patter shots, rabbit punches on top, and that was enough to secure him the first round. But after that, dude, Imavov tapped in. He started to realize, dude, if I just focus on stuffing Allen's takedowns when he's pressuring forward, this guy will literally do absolutely nothing. Like, he'll literally like shell up and just like sit there on the ground and not try to get up. He'll just like stay as still as a statue.
That's why I said that it didn't seem like he really had like the fire in him this fight.
Yeah.
He's usually a really scrappy dude.
Honestly, I think Allen could have been depressed because after the weigh-ins,
the
athletic commission told
ridiculous.
him to give the blood and the urine test, and he was just pissed about that. Maybe he was just in a negative.
That's a terrible take.
Okay, well, whatever. Fuck you. In the second
I
round,
mean, seriously though, it's like, he was depressed.
I'm gonna keep going with the fight analysis and keep breaking it down. He tried to stuff the takedowns when Imavov stuffed it and just beat him up on top and then took the back. I'm just not in the mood to argue at this point. He got a bunch
the take is just terrible.
And looping punches, and Allen just refused to get up. Like, he just shelled up like a fucking turtle when he was on bottom. And Imavov, he had better grappling once he was actually the one getting the control time and had the back. He was really good at pinning Allen down to the ground, but he really didn't need that much help because Allen just has no get-up ability. Once the takedown is stuffed, he has no plan B. So it was super weird. And that's what lost him the last 2 rounds, is that he actually did better in round 3, and like towards the end of it was pressuring on Imavov a little more and getting a few shots in there. But dude, once you stuff his takedowns, he is just done. He's cooked. So that is enough reason for me to like fade him in the future against guys with solid takedown defense, because they'll beat the shit out of him.
He was on such a solid streak coming into this. I think a more believable thing is that Brendan Allen was probably depressed because his picks weren't hitting for the card.
Right.
So as far as matchmaking goes,
for Allen. Too many people picked Allen as a betting underdog. I really don't know why. They were like, honestly, it's a sure thing that Allen's going to win.
Yeah, I gave him a fair shake in this fight. I think that he just didn't look exactly the same, but I just kind of knew that whatever Brendan Allen was going to bring to the table, Nasruddin was probably going to win it. Just the fact that he's just a skilled fighter. I thought that Brendan Allen could definitely like outpace Nasruddin, and Nasruddin, there's a question that he could have gassed in the later rounds. That didn't happen in this fight. Yeah, as far as matchmaking goes for Imavov, I mean, right now where he's at, I think that it's arguable he deserved a title shot already. But again, just not putting on the most exciting performances will hurt him.
Right.
But I mean, I don't think that anybody's gonna fight him. Because on Tapology is number 5. I don't know if that's the UFC rankings, but I mean, guys ahead of him are Izzy, Robert Whitaker, Sean Strickland, Dricus Duplessis, the champion. I don't think any of those guys will take a fight with him personally. I think that I do like Anakin's idea of Kyle Borralho. I think that's probably the only fight to make, really, at the top of the division, man. What do you think?
Yeah, I think that would be at least fun. Like, both guys, and given Borralho's last performance on the feet against Cannonier, he's willing to fucking trade. So that might actually be sort of a war on the feet, and I think they could sell the fight well, especially with Borralho. And I think that's a good fight to make. I think it would be fun for as long as it lasts. Maybe Borralho would be the guy shooting more takedowns. Maybe he'd shoot more takedowns out of desperation if Imavov's getting the better of him on the feet. But I think most of that fight's going to be sort of stand up. And
the division's so crammed at the top right now, man. It's just such a bummer. True.
Yeah,
but
I thought it was a good thing, but it seems like more of a bad thing.
I think that if you did Kyle versus Nasruddin, it'd have to be 5 rounds, though.
Yeah,
personally.
Yeah. Also, I'm sorry I said fuck you earlier. I think I'm just.
Dude, it's fine. It's fine. It's fucking hilarious to me. The next fight. Oh, he says, "What is your favorite fight from this card?"
It was definitely Battle versus Giuseppe. That was just war as long as it lasted. So good stuff. I have to go back and watch that.
So the main event was Renato Moicano defeating Benoit Saint-Denis before the start of the 3rd round due to doctor stoppage.
Doctor stoppage.
I mean, I kind of want to let Hank cook on this one for a little bit. I'll let you go first.
Yeah. I called that Moicano was going to try to grapple right out of the gate, and that Benoit Saint-Denis really pressures forward and tries to let his fists go and have a scrap. But unfortunately, with the timing of it, when he pressures forward, that can leave a lot of room grapplers to get the takedown on him. But dude, that's not what happened. Like Saint Denis pressured forward and Moicano went for the takedown, and he didn't get it when he tried to like counter what Saint Denis was doing, pressuring forward. Instead, he did the same thing he did with the Jalen Turner fight, and he's just like, you know what? My offensive grappling and my
Who's
offensive
Jalen Turner?
Jalen Turner.
Oh, okay.
Jalen Turner. My offensive takedown attempts are actually really good. And I really like how Moicano does it too, because it's not like, oh, I'm just going to go for a single leg, watch it down. It's like,
oh, there you go. Hank's dying. Damn, I was going to let him cook, and looks like the only thing cooking was his internet. Let's see if he comes back. My dude is gone. Man, this guy. What are those fucking things that boost Wi-Fi called? He needs to maybe I'll send him one because oh man, it's frozen. Well, anyway, he's gonna fucking rant and rave. He'll probably go over a bunch of this shit, but he says, side note, Moicano and Hooker going back and forth. Just seen it. They cooking up something. Ooh. I mean, that's going to be a fantastic fight, regardless of what you think of one or the other guy's skills. That'll be a good fight, and they'll fucking scrap it out. I think that it probably largely goes similar to this fight. Dan Hooker probably loses that one. I'll definitely pick Moicano in that one, but I'll be certainly rooting for Hooker. But at the same time, dude, like Moicano kind of turned me with this fight. I was not very high on him heading into this. I thought he was a really sloppy fighter. Definitely scrappy. But, dude, that promo that he cut at the end, fucking perfect, dude. And he's been cutting mad promos lately, and it's been fucking fantastic to see. But as far as, like, Moicano's championship potential, I don't see him ever being a champ in this weight class. But as far as, like, a fun fighter that's going to do like good numbers and draw eyes, it definitely has earned that. And it's kind of interesting that he'd be going after a guy like Hooker, because in 2019, Hooker was that guy until he ran into Dustin Poirier. So, yeah, definitely Moicano is on a career resurgence right now, even though he's been up and down in some of his previous fights. But, yeah, good shit for him. Oh, here we go. I think he's back. Coming in slowly. It's that basement internet. Okay, let's do this.
Hello? Yeah. Now I know why we have that fucking soundbite. For moments where my so there you go. Wow. But how much did I say before I crashed out?
I don't fucking know.
Okay. Well,
talking about you talked about the takedown. He got the takedown, the good offensive takedown work from him.
Yeah. Then he was really solid on top. There's one thing that Moicano's good at is making sure that his opponent is on bottom. There's no way for them to get up. He just pushes down an elbow. Yeah, he gets them right into missionary position. Big
on bottom, no Diddy.
No Diddy, no Jones either. Definitely no Jones. He's the one on bottom. Moicano, he's just so good at grabbing a wrist, grabbing an elbow, and just pressuring down. And then he's pretty good on top with the fucking elbows and the punches as well. Like, he left Benoit's face fucking bloody. He looked like a Jackson Pollock masterpiece by the time the second round rolled around. But what was so weird is that, and I think I remember somebody saying this, he had like a broken collarbone going into this fight, and he was still able to do what he did.
I don't know if it was his collarbone, but it was like the back part of it.
Yeah, it was somewhere around the fucking shoulder area.
Yeah, it was a gnarly injury.
Yeah, it was broken going into it, and Moicano still was able to have a masterful first round and look super fluid as well. But maybe that injury was really starting to show in the second round, because I really didn't like what I was seeing from Money Moicano in that second round. Like, Benoit, for someone who could barely fucking see, and he was probably gassed to high heaven, he was checking all of Moicano's leg kicks, getting the better of him in the exchanges, making sure to stuff every single one of Money Moicano's takedowns. Like, great work from Benoit in the second round, and I think he won it. In a lot of people's eyes, he won it too. But then it was
Like,
too late.
I
His
don't
eye
think
was already closed enough.
everybody's eyes. I don't think there was any controversy about who won the second round.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I'm just making it clear that Benoit was coming back. That's
Yeah.
not an argument to be like, oh, for that reason the doctor shouldn't have stopped it. No, like when
There was a lot of that in the post-fight show, and
when the guy's eyes fully closed, you can't fucking see. Half of him's blind. It's not a Michael Bisping situation. It's happened during the fight, and you got to stop it.
So
just
I think that regardless of the stoppage and the second round for Benoit, I think that Moicano just checkmated him in the first round, man.
Yeah.
By the work that he did closing up his eye. And honestly, like if that fight would have continued, I think that Benoit Saint Denis' other eye would have closed up too. It was definitely on the way. Moicano, man, he fucking straight up mauled him with elbows and stuff in the first round. What are you trying to pull up right now?
Oh, just my side of things because it switched back to yours when I
because you left. But
yes.
Anyway, good work from him from the first round. Like actually perfect first round, really. Benoit had not a shot in that first round, and when Renato in the second round went for a takedown, Benoit was much better about defending, and I don't think he ever got down in the second round. And but all credit to him fighting on and winning the second round. But at that point, it was too late, man. His eye was already fried. Doctor comes in, gives him the old, how many fingers am I holding up? And he passes the first time, then he covers up the other eye, and pretty clear he couldn't see out of it. So, yeah. And now Benoit Saint Denis is on a 2-fight skid, getting finished in both fights, man. Definitely a weird place to be in his career. But I think that it's a testament to how fast he surged up the rankings. And probably just goes to show you that maybe the top 5, he's just clearly not ready for the top 5.
No.
With that being said, give me some matchmaking for both men, Renato and Benoit Saint Denis.
Well, I was looking at other matchmaking videos about who to make the fight next for people on main card and prelims. And for Moicano, obviously he wants Paddy Pimblett. He called out Dan Hooker as well in his post-fight interview, and I don't know if that's going to happen. I think Hooker wants a big money matchup from the top 5, so I don't think that's happening. But
I'll push back on that a little bit. What do you mean big money? You think that Dan Hooker's going to be headlining a pay-per-view and get pay-per-view points? That's stupid. He's gonna.
No, I mean he said easy money. Sorry, I meant easy money because that's what he said in the promo.
Oh,
easy money matchup. So I'll make.
I think that it's funny that you say that. I know you're talking about Moicano, but I think that Hooker even said that in his last fight. He's like, give me some easy guys. And obviously they're not saying easy guys, but I actually think that Hooker and Moicano is a fantastic fight. But again, it's big money. That doesn't mean anything. They're not champions. They're on a fucking contract. They get paid what they get paid. If anything, a fight with Moicano is going to produce a fight of the night. So you're going to get $50,000 extra. But
surprisingly, Moicano hasn't been getting a lot of bonuses lately.
Yeah, he didn't get a bonus this time.
This one or the win against Turner. So
criminal.
So, yeah, he wants money. Why won't you give him his money?
But what was the other suggestion you'd made? Oh, Paddy Pimblett?
I think it made sense. And somebody said, oh, maybe Paddy should have a fight with Beneil Dariush or somebody while Moicano rests up because he's got a hurt collarbone. He needs the time off. So he's not going to have Paddy Pimblett right away. So just have him against somebody else higher, and then they'll have time to face each other after he's got a win or a loss there.
I think that definitely putting him on ice as far as matchmaking is concerned for now is a good idea. Mm-hmm. As far as Benoit, Anakin has some suggestions. He says Gamrot, Dariush, Turner. That's how you book a guy off a loss. I'll just say that.
Who would I pick between those? I wouldn't give it to Dariush because I feel like that's a layup for Saint Denis. Honestly, anybody I feel at this point could chin Dariush just because I think he's a little washed.
I think that Gamrot versus Denis would be a good test of Benoit's grappling.
Yeah, has he improved?
Might actually be the best fight for him as far as a test is concerned. But the Jalen Turner fight, that'll be a banger.
Yeah, that is true. Okay, him versus Gamrot. Book it. Both men didn't look the best. So
Kobe says you should have SkateTank and Hank the Tank meet and greet show
Yes.
in Australia.
Yep, we are big time celebrities over there. All the Aussies love our start time for these podcasts. So there you go. We're going to be in Australia before you know it.
But I mean, obviously, Renato Moicano pulled one of the best post-fight speeches I've seen in recent memory. Definitely turned me, man. I'm on the Moicano train now. I'm going to be rooting for this guy moving forward. Because I questioned if he was even really that good on the preview show. I'm like, is this dude even that good? And
I was a little surprised since he did super well against Jalen Turner in the first round and the second. I mean, obviously, Turner
but is Jalen Turner even that good?
Turner got the big right hand. Yeah, he dropped it at him. Everybody remembers that. But Moicano was on top of him for most of that first round, beating the shit out of him.
No diddy.
Maintaining good position. No diddy. And then the second round was just, I think, utter domination from Moicano.
I just got to doubt. Like I was saying when you were gone, it's like Moicano as the champion.
Wait, what?
Like, do you think Moicano has championship potential? I definitely don't think he does.
I don't think so, but I think there's definitely styles that make fights, and I think his style is actually matched up pretty well against guys that honestly I thought that he'd lose to, like Drew Dober. He was able to beat Drew Dober. He pushed through and had better top control. Like, he's finding a way to win some of these fights he cannot afford to lose, as he said.
Definitely scrappy.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I don't see him as the champ ever personally, but that fucking post-fight promo, man.
Yeah.
Fucking fantastic work from Moicano.
Democracy is a fallacy. Read this guy's book. He will tell you all about money and how politics work. Fuck Macron. Fuck Macron.
That was legendary. So yeah, man, I mean, that was the weekend of fights. That was the weekend that was 2.5 hours damn near. Hank the Tank, tell him what you got coming up.
We got Hank the Tank's picks for UFC Dana White's Contender Series on Tuesday, Tiramisu Tuesdays. I honestly have not done a lot of research going into my picks, but I will have them ready and out of the oven by, I think, maybe Monday afternoon, Monday evening. So look out for that when it's posted. And then I'm going to have, of course, Hank the Tank's fight companion for Contender Series. This has a lot of promising fights with some heavy-handed strikers. So we're going to get a few finishes, I think, for week, I believe it's 8. Yeah, week 8. And then after that, it's Hank's Think Tank for Wednesday, where I talk about all sorts of wacky shit and MMA news. And then we'll have Skatesman and Hank's picks for UFC 307. So look forward to that. We will have another very busy schedule for you guys, but we love it. And specifically, I love the grind. So as one.
Yeah, and Friday, Saturday, Sunday, who knows? This weekend I couldn't do Thai Fight because it coincided so close with the end of the RIZIN show. So those streams are doing hella good though. So I might do some Thai Fight every weekend they have it. So but yeah, man, that's the show. Let's see. Armin versus Moicano was supposed to happen before and it got canceled. Yeah, I think Armin's a little higher up the rankings, but I wouldn't hate that fight. My favorite fight was Hank versus The Darkness.
In my soul, yeah.
Hank the Tank. Sean wants you to hit him up after the stream.
Does he want me to have him go live again on Monday? Dude, I was fucking Potato Cam Stream Central.
Yeah, two guys with terrible internet on one stream.
Do you think my internet's fucking bad, dude? Yeah.
Yeah, I warned you about that before you did the show with it.
Yeah, there's a whole new level to that. So.
All right. Well, that's the show, guys. Anything else you want to say to the people?
Solid night of promos for the fight night, dude. I did not expect to have so many that were like, oh, popping the crap. Well, didn't pop the French because the French fucking hated the non-French fighters. But for anybody who was watching at home, dude, great fucking post fight action. Honestly, I think that made up for a lot of the bad fights, and I think that's why I'd give it a 7 out of 10 because it had so many memorable moments in between the fights. So good stuff overall, and RIZIN was fine. It was surprisingly just
so brutal to watch that shit, man. Like,
yeah,
just
exactly.
For how
when
it's
bad, then you just want to go to bed, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
But it's always on there, so therefore it was the greatest show of all time.
Take it as that was the GOAT.
Yes.
All right, man. Lead us out.
You have escaped the war zone for now. Hey, man, keep hating on Hank. I love it. I love it. Number one on Topology. Your hatred for Money Moicano, it fuels me. It fuels me. If you think Hank the Tank was gonna fucking lose to In the Granite. You are crazy, dude. Denial, Weedy Gonzalez, I'll take them all out. You know what I'm saying? I am Hank Pooh Bear Tank. I mean, Butcher.